Chapter 307. Seeing this, Tang Zheng shouted no. However, he was unable to stand steadily because of the strong wind. He had no choice but to help Xiao Bai. Xiao Bai did not retreat at all. Instead, he stood up straight and stared straight at the golden dragon. Roar! With a dragon's roar, Xiao Bai's hair danced in the wind. However, Xiao Bai still did not retreat. He also made a squeaking sound, as if he was responding to the golden dragon. The dragon's head finally stopped in front of Xiao Bai. The dragon's whiskers were almost touching Xiao Bai. Xiao Bai stretched out his claws and stroked the dragon's whiskers. Seeing this, Tang Zheng's heart trembled. This little guy is too bold. However, why didn't the golden dragon eat Xiao Bai in one bite? What are you? Suddenly, the golden dragon spoke. Ah, it can speak. Tang Zheng was shocked, but he immediately remembered that the golden dragon was a very powerful demon. It was not strange that it could speak. Squeak, squeak. Xiao Bai made a sound, as if he was answering the golden dragon's question. However, the golden dragon's eyes were filled with doubt. You can't speak. Obviously, the golden dragon did not understand Xiao Bai's answer. Seeing this, Tang Zheng's heart almost jumped out of his throat. However, he quietly calmed down. Who are you? The golden dragon turned to Tang Zheng and asked. Whoosh! The strong wind disappeared. Tang Zheng landed steadily on the ground. It was a close call, but not dangerous. We have a question for you. Tian Chanzi walked up and asked in a deep voice. Oh, a question? Haha, interesting. I see humans again after hundreds of years, but they are here to ask me questions. The golden dragon laughed, but there was a hint of vicissitudes in its voice. Human, I was imprisoned by you back then. Do you think I will still answer your questions? The golden dragon's voice paused. There was a hint of anger in it as it asked. You have been locked up here for hundreds of years, and no one has come to see you. Today, we are here to see you. Don't you think you should thank us? Tian Chanzi said. Haha, thank you. I can't wait to eat you all, the golden dragon said in disgust. Creak, creak. Xiao Bai jumped up and down, as if saying that it was not allowed to eat people. The golden dragon looked at Xiao Bai suspiciously and asked, What exactly is this little thing? Tang Zheng asked in surprise. Don't you know where it came from? After all, the golden dragon was from the Yao clan. Even he did not know about Xiao Bai's origins. Just how mysterious was this little guy's origin? The golden dragon said in surprise, You don't know yourself? We still want to consult you. The golden dragon stared at Tang Zheng with its large eyes, confirming that he was not lying, and said, Strange, this little guy is clearly from the Yao clan, but I can't see through its origins. However, the aura on its body is very special. It actually has the aura of the Great Desolate Era and is not afraid of my dragon's might. The aura of the Great Desolate Era? Tang Zheng's head moved, and he quickly asked, Do you know about the prehistoric heavenly tomb? Prehistoric heavenly tomb? You found the prehistoric heavenly tomb? The golden dragon shook its body, and the black chain's ding-dang rang out. Where's the prehistoric heavenly tomb? Hearing that the other party knew about the prehistoric heavenly tomb, both Tang Zheng and Tian Chanzi were shocked. Even Tian Chanzi did not know the origins of the prehistoric heavenly tomb. He never thought that this golden dragon would actually know. Tell me what the prehistoric heavenly tomb is first. Tang Zheng stabilized his mind and asked without batting an eyelid. You actually dare to bargain with the noble dragon race? The golden dragon flew into a rage, as if it was about to flip out. This is called an exchange of information. It's very fair. If you don't want to say it, then forget it. Tang Zheng said coldly. Tian Chanzi also admired Tang Zheng's attitude. This golden dragon seemed to be a little difficult to deal with. You've been locked up here for hundreds of years, but you still haven't changed your temper. Tell us, what kind of place is the prehistoric heavenly tomb? Tian Chanzi's expression was also somewhat stern. The golden dragon did not appreciate it at all and said arrogantly, You want to get information from me? Dream on. I won't tell you despicable humans. Tang Zheng and Tian Chanzi looked at each other, feeling a little helpless. Originally, they wanted to ask about the disappearance of the cultivators, but it seemed like there was no hope. This golden dragon's mouth was really hard. Tang Zheng had an idea. His eyes lit up and said loudly, "You made yourself sound so high and mighty, but you were still imprisoned here for a few hundred years. Don't flatter yourself. You dare to insult me? I'm going to eat you." The golden dragon flew into a rage and was about to flip out again, but Xiao Bai suddenly jumped onto Tang Zheng's shoulder and stared at it like a tiger eyeing its prey. The golden dragon paused and looked at Xiao Bai fearfully. Tang Zheng and Tian Chanzi heaved a sigh of relief. Obviously, this golden dragon was extremely afraid of Xiao Bai, so their safety was guaranteed. Tian Chanzi sighed in annoyance. Seeing that he was about to get close to the truth, he did not expect this stupid dragon to not cooperate. Seeing that the two of them were at their wits' end, the golden dragon raised its head high, feeling very pleased with itself. "Let's go. No one will know about it for another few hundred years until it dies of old age here." Tang Zheng rolled his eyes. A plan came to his mind, and he turned to leave. "Kid, Tian Chanzi wanted to dissuade him, but when he saw Tang Zheng giving him a meaningful glance, he understood and said, "Yes, let this stupid dragon die here." The two of them turned around and left, completely ignoring the golden dragon's astonishment. It opened its eyes wide in disbelief and roared, "How can you leave just like that? You're not allowed to leave." But how could it stop someone else? Seeing that the other party was about to enter the tunnel, the golden dragon compromised and immediately shouted, "Don't go. I'll tell you." Tang Zheng and Tian Chanzi looked at each other. This was indeed a stupid dragon. A little bit of provocation was enough to pry open its mouth. Seeing the two of them stop in their tracks, the golden dragon hurriedly said, "Prehistoric Heavenly Tomb is a tomb after the Great War in the ancient era. There are countless legendary great figures buried inside, but this tomb is extremely mystical. It is said that there are many divine arts and secret manuals buried in this prehistoric heavenly tomb, as well as divine weapons. These were all the belongings of the great figures back then, and were buried here with them. Outsiders did not know where the prehistoric heavenly tomb was, and after that, countless people went to search for it, but many of them returned empty-handed. However, there are also people who successfully returned from the prehistoric heavenly tomb, and all of them became great figures who ruled over a region. However, these people who returned were also secretive about where the prehistoric heavenly tomb was." Tang Zheng and Tian Chanzi both revealed expressions of joy at the same time. In that case, the prehistoric heavenly tomb was a huge treasure trove. Tang Zheng never thought that he would accidentally discover a treasure trove that no one else would be able to discover. But speaking of which, the prehistoric heavenly tomb was not that hard to find. Even Li Xiaotian and that group of Japanese were able to find it. Could it be that there was something fishy about it? "I've told you everything I know," the golden dragon said resentfully. Humans were cunning. They actually forced him to obediently submit. "Then do you know why the cultivators of this world disappeared?" Tian Chanzi asked again. The golden dragon's eyes lit up and laughed. "Actually, you guys wanted to ask this question from the beginning. It seemed like it wasn't that stupid. Yes, you've been locked up here for hundreds of years. You must know, right?" Tian Chanzi said excitedly. The golden dragon raised its head and said arrogantly, "Of course I know. I've been curious since you came in. Isn't there no cultivator in this world anymore? Where did you two come from? Hurry up and speak. Stop dawdling. If you want to know the answer, you have to agree to one of my conditions." The golden dragon said resolutely. The two of them did not expect the golden dragon to actually raise a condition. Tian Chanzi asked in a deep voice, "What condition? Let me out. I don't want to continue being locked up here." The golden dragon said angrily, "The formation that imprisoned you is very powerful. I have no way to completely break the formation." Tian Chanzi said, "You must have a way. This formation is called the inescapable snare tactical method. With this imperial city as the foundation, as long as you destroy the entire imperial city, I can regain my freedom." The golden dragon said crazily, "Destroy the entire imperial city?" Tang Zheng was flabbergasted. Was there a mistake? This was the center of the country. Destroying the entire imperial city was simply a matter that would shock the world. Not to mention that Tang Zheng did not have the ability to do so now. Even if he did, he would definitely be treated as the public enemy of this country. He did not want to walk down this path. How is it? It's simple, right? With your cultivation, it won't be too difficult to destroy this imperial city. The Golden Dragon said excitedly. Heaven Monk was a little moved. He was originally a person from the cultivation world and was incompatible with this world. It was just destroying an imperial city. So what was the big deal? Tang Zheng guessed his thoughts and quickly advised, Tian Chanzi, don't listen to its instigation. If we do this, then there will be no place for you and me in this world. Tian Chanzi said disapprovingly, as long as we know the secret of the disappearance of the cultivators, this is nothing. Tang Zheng argued, no matter what you say, I will not agree. Seeing Tang Zheng so determined, Tian Chanzi curled his lips and said, you are now a cultivator. What are you afraid of? It is true that I am a cultivator, but the people around me, my family and friends, are not cultivators. If I really do this, then even if the entire country investigates this matter, I am afraid that I will not be able to stay out of it. At that time, I will implicate these people. Tang Zheng said with a resolute expression. If you don't agree, then don't think about knowing this secret. Humph, I see that you are locked up underground. You may not know this secret. Tang Zheng said in disbelief. The Golden Dragon anxiously refuted. Nonsense! How could I not know? Every once in a while, my primordial spirit will leave my body and go to the outside world to take a look. Although I can't do anything, I know what is happening in the outside world. Tang Zheng's heart moved. So there was such a thing. Seeing Tian Chanzi gently nod, Tang Zheng knew that this dragon was not lying. He was afraid that he really knew the secret of the disappearance of the cultivators. Looking at the two people's faces, the Golden Dragon proudly said, now you know how powerful I am. If you want to know the secret, you must destroy the imperial city and let me out. Otherwise, don't think about getting this secret from me. Chapter 308. Tang Zheng and Tian Chanzi stared at each other. This dragon was not so easy to fool. Its attitude towards this matter was so firm that there was no room for negotiation. What should they do? Could it be that they should give up halfway? Boy, it's just an imperial city. It's not a big deal. Besides, it has no practical use now. Tian Chanzi advised. Tang Zheng waved his hand. Don't say any more. No, you're still so stubborn. I really don't know what to do with you. Tian Chanzi helplessly rolled his eyes. Tang Zheng stared straight at the Golden Dragon and said, I've already told you clearly that it's impossible to destroy the imperial city. Do you have any other way to break the inescapable snare formation? Other ways? Humph, unless your cultivation level reaches the Huashan stage, there's no way to quietly break the inescapable snare formation. The Golden Dragon solemnly vowed. It was a little surprised by this human's persistence and determination. Huashan stage. Tang Zheng and Tian Chanzi were quite surprised that such a high cultivation level was required. Tian Chanzi whispered, Boy, then it's impossible for us to break the formation in a short time. Tang Zheng certainly knew that Tian Chanzi was also in the Gold Core stage. There was still a Yuanying stage between the Huashan stage and the Huashan stage, so 3 plus or minus 3 couldn't meet the requirements at all. But we have to know this secret today. This matter is of great importance. Tang Zheng nodded to show that he understood. I can promise you one thing. If you tell us this secret, I'll definitely get you out. If you don't tell us, then you'll be locked up here until you die. Humph, if you don't get me out, I won't tell you. I said I'll get you out, so I'll definitely save you. At most, you'll be locked up for a few more years, or more than 10 years. Otherwise, you'll die of old age here. Don't you know how to settle this account? Tang Zheng angrily asked. A few years, more than 10 years? Haha, you think too highly of yourself. You're only at the 4th grade of the foundation establishment stage. You're dreaming if you think you can reach the soul formation stage so quickly, the Golden Dragon said disdainfully. Even if I can't achieve it, can't he? Humph, Don't think I don't know that the spiritual chi of heaven and earth outside is so thin that it can't be compared to the past at all. Even if he wants to reach the divine transformation realm in 10 years, you can ask him yourself if it's possible. Tang Zheng looked at Tian Chanzi in surprise. Aren't you already at the gold core stage? Wasn't she only one yuanying stage away from the soul formation stage? Why can't it be done? Heaven Monk laughed bitterly. Brat, don't use your own abnormal cultivation method on others. The further you go, the harder it is to cultivate. It is possible that you will not be able to break through even after spending more than 10 years. Tang Zheng was speechless. It turned out that he had been too optimistic. How is it? Now you know I'm telling the truth, right? It's not that I'm looking down on you, but if you want to reach the divine transformation stage in such a short period of time, unless a miracle happens. The golden dragon said complacently. Tang Zheng clenched his teeth as his thoughts raced. In the end, he suddenly raised his head and looked at the golden dragon with determination. I believe that I can do it. At most, in 20 years, I will definitely reach the divine transformation stage and save you. Tang Zheng was not being arrogant, but he was confident that his nine-yang holy body's cultivation speed was several times faster than others. Moreover, wasn't there still the prehistoric heavenly tune? At most, he could just go inside and look for the secret manuals left behind by the great figures of the ancient era. The golden dragon clearly did not believe Tang Zheng's words and said, "Despicable human, you want to lie to me again? I won't fall for it." Tian Chanzi's heart stirred as he said, "He has the nine-yang holy body and is a cultivation genius that only appears once in 1,000 years. I can't do it, but maybe he can." Nine-yang holy body? The golden dragon curiously looked at Tang Zheng. Even a nine-yang holy body is useless. It's also impossible. In this world, the only ones who can do this are the legendary celestials. Celestials? This was the first time Tang Zheng and Tian Chanzi had heard of this term. What is a celestial? A celestial is a cultivation genius that appears once in 10,000 years. Furthermore, a celestial carries a huge secret that is much more powerful than your nine-yang holy body. This is the first time I've heard of this term. It's really strange. Tian Chanzi muttered to himself. Of course you don't know. This is the secret of the dragon race. How can a normal person know? The golden dragon arrogantly said, "If a celestial can do it, why can't I?" Tang Zheng was unconvinced. "Human, it's not that I'm looking down on you, but you really are impossible." Tang Zheng had a stomach full of anger. Were celestials this powerful? Creak, creak. Suddenly, Xiaobai cried out. He jumped off Tang Zheng's shoulder and pulled on Tang Zheng's pant leg, doing his utmost to pull him toward the golden dragon. "Hey, Xiaobai, what are you doing?" Xiaobai was very strong. Tang Zheng was dragged toward the golden dragon. Creak, creak. Xiaobai cried out, but he didn't stop. Instead, he put in even more effort. In the blink of an eye, he had pulled Tang Zheng under the golden dragon's huge body. Tang Zheng raised his head and could feel the dragon might of this colossus even more directly. He actually had the urge to bow down and worship it. With Xiao Bai's protection, Tang Zheng was confident that the golden dragon wouldn't dare to harm him. However, he was very curious as to what Xiao Bai wanted to do. Xiao Bai shouted and pointed at Tang Zheng. The golden dragon was puzzled, but it understood Xiao Bai's meaning. Its dragon claw slowly reached for Tang Zheng's shoulder. Tian Chanzi turned pale with fright. He cried out in alarm, "Brat, be careful." Xiao Bai wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he used his eyes to encourage Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng's head twitched. Xiao Bai wouldn't harm him. He definitely had his reasons for doing this. Tian Chanzi, don't worry. I'll be fine. Tang Zheng took a deep breath and suppressed the urge to run away. He could only watch as the dragon claw landed on his shoulder. Whitey, on the other hand, opened its eyes wide in excitement. It jumped up and down and squeaked, looking very pleased with itself. Tian Chanzi's heart was about to jump out of his chest. Although he had lived for many years, this was the first time he had seen such a scene. He couldn't help but feel excited. Even thousands of years ago, dragons were very rare and aloof. Ordinary practitioners had no way to see a real dragon. In fact, this was also the first time Tian Chanzi had seen a real dragon. He was really shocked by the scene in front of him. Vaguely, there seemed to be some kind of indescribable expectation in his heart. He stared at Tang Zheng intently. Tang Zheng was also extremely nervous. To let the legendary dragon get so close to him and even have physical contact with him, if it was anyone else, they would probably have the same thoughts as him. In the face of such a powerful dragon, he didn't sit down on the ground and show a timid expression. He took a deep breath and tried to appear calm. The golden dragon's eyes were originally filled with doubt. It didn't understand the deep meaning of Xiao Bai's action. But when its claw landed on Tang Zheng's shoulder, its pupils quickly dilated. Its golden eyes bloomed with dazzling golden light. The entire hall turned into a golden ocean. Tang Zheng's face turned pale with fright. What was going on? Fortunately, his body didn't have any strange feeling. Otherwise, he would have definitely fought back. The doubt in the golden dragon's eyes was completely replaced by shock. It looked at Tang Zheng and cried out in fright. How is this possible? You are actually a celestial. What? I'm a Skywalker. Tang Zheng was also shocked, and even the heaven monk exclaimed, cursing loudly, F***CK. The golden dragon had already retracted its claw. It looked at Tang Zheng in disbelief. You actually have 9 main meridians and a pure yang body. You are celestial. Tang Zheng suddenly realized that these 2 points were the characteristics of a celestial. He couldn't help but remember Tian Chanzi once said that he wasn't human. It seems he was a celestial. A celestial was also a human. He finally didn't have to worry about whether he was a human or not. He felt very gratified. But this celestial was so powerful from the golden dragon's mouth. He was very excited because this meant that he could reach spirit severing stage in a short 10 years. Since you know I'm a celestial, then you can believe my words, right? Tang Zheng continued to press on. The golden dragon was still in shock. It muttered to itself, no wonder this mysterious little fellow was subdued by you. So it also knows that you are celestial. Hearing this, Xiao Bai excitedly jumped up and down. In the end, it directly jumped onto Tang Zheng's shoulder. Tang Zheng patted its little head and said, so you already knew that I am a celestial. Xiao Bai pretended to be serious and nodded its head. But unlike the golden dragon, Xiao Bai couldn't speak. So even if it knew this secret, it couldn't tell Tang Zheng. The golden dragon's eyes gradually regained its luster. It stared straight at Tang Zheng and said, I actually saw a celestial that only appears once every 10,000 years. Moreover, it is in this world where there are no practitioners at all. This is too miraculous. Although I have been in prison here for hundreds of years, but to be able to see a celestial these hundreds of years were worth it. Tang Zheng blushed with shame. He didn't expect that he would have such great charm. It was like he was a celebrity, and this golden dragon was like a fan of his. But since he met a fan, then things would be much easier. So he coughed and said, since that is the case, then you can tell me the secret of the disappearance of practitioners. Of course, but I hope that you can come and see me when you are free. I've been imprisoned here for hundreds of years without anyone to talk to me. I'm about to go crazy. The golden dragon said expectantly. Tang Zheng hesitated for a moment. In any case, he was going to stay in the capital for 4 years. If he was free, it would be good to come and see him. Moreover, this place was definitely a good place to train. With a golden dragon by his side, no one would be able to hurt him when he was training. Just thinking about this made him very excited. So he nodded his head without hesitation. The golden dragon also seemed to be very happy. It said, haha, wait a little longer, I can finally see the light of day again. Humph, those people who imprisoned me are already dead. Otherwise, I would have eaten all of them. Tang Zheng was speechless. This guy opened its mouth and said that it wanted to eat people. It really was a foodie. It seemed like he would have to teach it a lesson in the future to change this bad habit. Tian Chanzi didn't expect that things would take such a turn. He said excitedly, boy, quickly ask it to speak. Chapter 309. The Golden Dragon did not hide anything anymore and talked about the calamity of the Divine Continent more than 200 years ago. The foreign races invaded the Central Earth and were all vying for supremacy. At that time, the spirit chi of heaven and earth was exhausted, and the level of cultivators was not much worse than before. However, a genius called Nuera appeared among the foreign races, and Nuera's cultivation was shocking, reaching the 9th grade, a martial emperor. There were many capable people in the Central Earth, but whether it was martial artists or cultivators, none of them could surpass Nuera. As a result, Nuera led the foreign races to attack the city, and many people from the Central Earth died. Of course, this also included cultivators and warriors. This foreign race was very powerful. There were no cultivators among them, and they were all warriors. However, all of them were powerful and did not lose to cultivators. After countless battles, the dynasties of the Central Earth were forced to retreat. Everyone knew that if Nuera did not die, the imperial dynasty of the Central Earth would definitely be overthrown. In the Central Earth, cultivators had a higher status than warriors, and many warriors were secretly dissatisfied with cultivators. At this time, some warriors were even in cahoots with the foreign races, cooperating with each other from the inside. The Central Earth imperial dynasty was even more so, retreating step by step, and was in danger. In the end, the emperor gathered all the heroes of the world to discuss a grand plan, while Nuera actually single-handedly rushed to the capital from 1,000 miles outside the pass. Just like that, he swaggered into the imperial city. Countless experts surrounded Nuera, but hesitated. Nuera had already conspired with some warriors, killing until the sky turned dark and the ground turned black, blood flowing like rivers. The imperial city was practically a sea of corpses, wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves. But in the end, Nuera still managed to hold on. He faced off against the heroes of the world, but he did not completely fall into a disadvantageous position. At this moment, Nuera vowed that there were already 1 million soldiers outside the pass, and that they would attack the pass in half a day. At that time, the army would head south, and the Central Earth imperial dynasty would definitely be destroyed. The emperor was naturally terrified, but no one was a match for Nuera, causing him to be helpless. But at this time, Nuera made a suggestion. As long as the emperor expelled the cultivators, his subordinates' iron hooves would stop moving south, and this war would end. Although the Middle Earth Empire had lasted for hundreds of years, the emperor was already incomparably muddle-headed. After hearing this, in order to protect the throne, he actually agreed immediately and secretly discussed with Nuera how to expel the cultivators. In the end, Nuera obtained a method from somewhere and secretly used it with the emperor. Immediately, the sky changed color and many vortexes appeared in the sky. One by one, the cultivators were sucked into the sky by the vortexes. No cultivator was spared. However, the other ordinary people and martial artists were unscathed. This terrifying scene lasted for 3 days and 3 nights before disappearing, and there was not a single cultivator left in the world. According to Nuera's introduction, these cultivators did not die, but went to some sky beyond heaven, and from then on, they would never be able to come to this world. This world was the world of martial artists. Nuera returned with a loud laugh, but he did not keep his promise. As soon as he returned to the pass, he led 1 million mighty soldiers to break through the pass and lead them south. Although he was a martial emperor, he was still extremely fearful of all the cultivators in the world. This was because only cultivators could resist him, and the cultivators of the Middle Earth were too weak in comparison. Without any resistance, Nuera seemed to have the help of a god as he charged to the capital like lightning. The resistance of the martial artists in the world was like a small wave that was completely drowned out by this shocking wave. The emperor was disheartened and ashamed to face the common people and cultivators of the world. Thus, he hanged himself on Coal Mountain to thank the world. After the foreign race invaded the Middle Earth, they unscrupulously carried out the enslavement policy. They even tampered with history and completely erased everything about cultivators. As a result, hundreds of years later, Ordinary people simply did not know that there was such a group of people in the divine continent. Tang Zheng's heart was surging with emotions when he heard this. The magnificent history scroll seemed to be slowly unfolding in front of him, and the schemes and machinations within it made him shudder. So this was how the cultivators disappeared, brought to some sky beyond heaven by an outsider's tricks. He was no stranger to this sky beyond heaven. Back then, didn't the demon clan summon the demon god from the sky beyond heaven? The demon clan would definitely be unwilling and want to come back for revenge. Most of the cultivators would probably be unwilling and want to come back for revenge. After all, being expelled in such a way was a great humiliation. Shameless. Tian Chanzi's face flushed red as he roared angrily. Tang Zheng was shocked and immediately asked, Tian Chanzi, what are you doing? This new era is too shameless to actually use such a despicable method. Tian Chanzi said. The golden dragon snorted in disdain and said, humans are shameless to begin with. Tang Zheng glared at it, and the golden dragon unwillingly shut its mouth, as if it was a little afraid of Tang Zheng, the Skywalker. That's not right. It's not like there weren't any large success realm cultivators 1,000 years ago. Why was New Era able to go straight in and no one could stop him? Tian Chanzi raised his eyebrows as he discovered something strange. The golden dragon looked at him in surprise and said, you actually know about things that happened 1,000 years ago. Who exactly are you? He was a cultivator from 1,000 years ago. It was only by chance that he was reborn. Tang Zheng explained. The golden dragon nodded in realization. You're really lucky to have escaped that calamity. Otherwise, you would have definitely gone to the sky beyond heaven as well. As for your question, the reason is very simple. 500 years ago, a great battle broke out between the righteous path and the demon clan in the cultivation world. The experts on both sides were all killed and injured. So for more than 200 years, the cultivators did not recover their vitality at all, which gave New Era the opportunity to take advantage of them. A great battle between the righteous path and the demon clan? Tian Chanzi turned pale with fright and muttered to himself. Did this battle still start in the end? There was usually friction between the righteous path and the demon clan, but who would have thought that in the end, there would still be a great battle? Tian Chanzi clenched his teeth, filled with regret. If there wasn't that great battle, the cultivators would have been able to continue to stay in this world. What's so good about staying here? The spirit energy is getting thinner and thinner, and the cultivation speed is getting slower and slower. The golden dragon said disdainfully. Tian Chanzi coldly snorted and said, what do you know? The Middle Earth is a place for cultivators. How can it be occupied by outsiders? Now that the outsiders have been driven away, aren't the people of the Middle Earth sitting on their own land? The golden dragon asked. Tang Zheng and Tian Chanzi were both speechless. That's right. Although the outsiders had occupied the Middle Earth for more than 200 years, they were still driven away in the end. What about that new era? The life of a martial artist is limited, so of course he died. Moreover, he had been fighting with so many cultivators, so he had already suffered internal injuries, but he had been holding on, which was why he came up with this trick. Otherwise, if the cultivators were not eliminated, he would not have been able to hold on for long, let alone lead his troops into the pass and occupy the Middle Earth. Dead. That's too easy for him. If he didn't die, I would definitely tear him into pieces. Tian Chanzi gritted his teeth and said hatefully, since you said that cultivators were all sucked into the sky beyond, then why are there still demonic beasts in this world? Furthermore, you weren't sucked into the sky beyond either, were you? Of course the demonic beasts were also sucked into the sky beyond, but this demonic beast must have evolved from the nourishment of the spirit chi of heaven and earth. As for me, I am from the dragon race. How can other demonic beasts compare to me? My dragon race doesn't live in this Middle Earth. So how could New Era's scheme suck the dragon race into the sky beyond? Furthermore, I have this inescapable snare formation above my head. Even if I'm sucked away like that whirlpool, I can't do anything about it. The golden dragon explained. Tang Zheng was deep in thought. The witch clan in the 10,000 huge mountains and the demonic beasts in the prehistoric heavenly tomb were definitely protected by the restrictions in the 10,000 huge mountains, which was why they were able to escape this calamity. Brat, we must let the cultivators return to this world. Tian Chanzi suddenly raised his head and stared at Tang Zheng with a burning gaze. Tang Zheng's head moved. Didn't this mean that Tian Chanzi's goal was the same as the demon clans? Didn't the demon clan also vow to return to this world? Tang Zheng did not have the time to tell him about the demon clan, so he quickly told him about what happened during the military training. Tian Chanzi was slightly startled and said, "The demon clan is truly cunning. They actually left behind a backup plan. Then, according to what you mean, a demon god has already descended?" Tang Zheng nodded his head. "This demon god was killed by me using the heaven-shocking bow. His soul escaped. He must still be in this world." Tian Chanzi's gaze became complicated and said thoughtfully, "Then I really want to meet him. Since he came back from the sky beyond, he must be clear about the situation there, and what happened to the cultivators who were sucked in. I must also find out. But his whereabouts must be very hidden. It's not easy to find." Even if it's not easy to find, I still have to find him. Even if I have to dig 3 feet into the ground, I still have to find him. Tian Chanzi clenched his teeth and said fiercely. The golden dragon said in surprise, "It's only been 200 years, and the cultivators of the sky beyond heaven are about to return." I'm afraid New Era didn't think of this back then either. This time, the cultivators returned with hatred, which was equivalent to the wrath of the heavens. Then the people of this world would have to suffer. I'm afraid it would be another sea of corpses. Humans are so stupid, killing each other. One day they will be extinct. Tang Zheng felt a chill run down his spine. What the golden dragon said was probably not a delusion. Back then, when the cultivators were tricked like this, they must have harbored hatred in their hearts. This time, no matter if it was the righteous path or the demon clan, they would not let this matter rest. The warriors of this world would not be able to live peacefully. After all, New Era was a warrior, and the cultivators might even vent their anger on the current warriors. Furthermore, the martial sect was still sparing no effort to chase after the cultivators, which made him even more of a thorn in the eyes of the cultivators. If the cultivators returned and wantonly hunted the warriors, and according to the current situation, the development of the warriors in the past few hundred years was not very good. How could they resist the revenge of the cultivators? Wouldn't the world be in chaos? Chapter 310. Tang Zheng's face had already darkened. He was worried about the upcoming bloody storm, and asked, "Tian Chanzi, after you find the demon god, could it be that you want to join hands with him to let the cultivators return?" Tian Chanzi paused for a moment, his eyes burning as he looked at Tang Zheng. He had already understood his thoughts, and said, "Brat, do you not want the cultivators to return?" Tang Zheng hesitated for a moment, then shook his head. "I don't know either, but I don't want the people of this world to suffer a calamity." "Are you worried about the warriors by your side?" Tang Zheng nodded his head truthfully. "Yes, I have too many warriors by my side. If the cultivators return, then wouldn't the warriors be in trouble? But this is not fair to the cultivators. Back then, they were expelled, and there was also that martial sect who hunted the cultivators all these years. Do you think that we cultivators deserve to die?" Tian Chanzi's voice had already become stern. Obviously, Tian Chanzi was very angry about what happened back then. Tang Zheng continued to persuade him, but that was New Era's scheme, and it had nothing to do with most of the warriors. Furthermore, that was more than 200 years ago, and the people involved back then have all died. Tian Chanzi still did not let go, and said, "No matter what, the cultivators must return." Tang Zheng was silent. He knew that he could not persuade the Heaven Zen puppet, Z. Humans are indeed despicable and shameless people. Just now, they were still together, but now they are fighting amongst themselves. The golden dragon said in disdain. Tang Zheng was startled. He and Tian Chanzi had gone through life and death together. and without Tian Chanzi, he would not be where he was today. So he slowed down his tone and said, Tian Chanzi, let's not discuss this problem first. Back then, New Era spent so much effort to expel the cultivators. I don't think that the cultivators can return so easily. Tian Chanzi was startled and said, You mean that even if I find the demon god, I won't be able to summon the cultivators back? Of course. Tang Zheng had only thought of this point in a moment of desperation. The devil race's summoning method only summons devils. What can the righteous path do? Tian Chanzi was speechless. He had not experienced the great battle back then, so he naturally did not know if the righteous faction had any tricks up their sleeves. If the devil race continued to summon them, then the devil race would definitely become stronger. Without the suppression of the righteous path, then the world would be in chaos. This was not what Tian Chanzi wanted to see. No matter what, let's find the demon god first. Kid, I'll be leaving the capital soon. You should stay in the capital. This time, I've shocked a few of the great families. I believe that they won't dare to do anything to you in the short term. Tian Chanzi said. Tang Zheng nodded. This was the greatest gift that Tian Chanzi had given him. In addition, the pure yang energy in your body is restless. I see that you haven't completely taken down that girl from the Ye family. Put in more effort and take her down. Otherwise, just wait for your body to explode. Tian Chanzi patted Tang Zheng's shoulder. Tang Zheng smiled bitterly. I know. Turning his head to look at the golden dragon, he said, Golden dragon, we'll leave first. I remember our promise. I will definitely keep it. I believe in you, Skywalker. The golden dragon said. Several people returned to the ground. Tian Chanzi taught Tang Zheng the way to return to the hall. Then he disappeared with Huang Xiang. Seeing that the sky was gradually brightening, Tang Zheng quickly left the imperial city. He had already made his decision that he would come to the imperial city for the next few nights. Not for anything else, but because he had already discovered that the imperial city was a place with dancing qi. Perhaps it was because the great battle that year had left the imperial city littered with corpses, so the yin qi left behind had not completely dissipated even after hundreds of years. The last time the War Soul Sword was severely damaged, he had not found enough yin qi to repair it. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. At dawn, he had already returned to the campus. The members of Room 502 had just woken up. Seeing that Tang Zheng had returned, they all laughed and teased him. After all, he and Yi Dingdang had disappeared for 2 days and 2 nights, which made people's imaginations run wild. Tang Zheng went to bed to rest. At noon, Sinosaurus anxiously patted Tang Zheng's shoulder and said, Lao San, wake up quickly. Someone has come to see you. Tang Zheng opened his eyes in a daze and said, Who came to see me? Of course it's me. You're still sleeping in the afternoon. What bad things did you do last night? Yi Dingdong's voice sounded. Tang Zheng flipped over and sat up, asking, Why are you here? He quickly put on his clothes. The weather was still a little hot, so he slept in his briefs, which was almost equivalent to being naked. Yi Dingdang saw everything. Unexpectedly, Yi Dingdang did not avoid suspicion at all, nor was she embarrassed in the slightest. Instead, she magnanimously looked at Tang Zheng's predicament. Tang Zheng panicked as he put on his pants. Sinosaurus chuckled. Lao San, why are you so shy? It's not like beauty, Yi is an outsider. Tang Zheng glared at him fiercely and said, Why are you looking for me? Of course it's for you. Yi Dingdong's eyes turned as she said in her heart, You really have a big heart. Don't you know that yesterday's matter has already caused an uproar in the city? You still have the leisure to sleep here. Hi, hey, you two continue. I won't disturb you. I'll go to the dorm next door. Hey, you guys don't block the door. Go, go, go. Have you never seen a beauty before? Sinosaurus dispersed the crowd at the door. Hey, you can't do this. A beauty wants everyone to see. The crowd erupted in complaints. What are you looking at? This is our Lao San's dish. You guys don't have a share. Sinosaurus directly closed the door, blocking the many pairs of reluctant eyes. Poochie, look at you. You still know how to be shy. Yi Dingdang couldn't help but tease. Tang Zheng dryly coughed and said embarrassedly, You rashly came to the male dorm. You don't know how powerful you are. You really want me to become public enemy number 1. You're so powerful. Are you still afraid of becoming public enemy number one? Hurry up and get off the bed. I have something to ask you. Tang Jing quickly got off the bed and asked, "What's the matter? Where's your master?" He left. He left the capital. Yi Ding Dang said in astonishment. He left so quickly. I still want to thank him. Don't tell me you didn't notice anything different about me today. Tang Zheng looked her up and down. She was still as beautiful as before. There was nothing different about her. My cultivation broke through. I directly went from the 9th grade refining body to the 2nd grade natal grade. Seeing his suspicious face, she excitedly said. Tang Zheng's eyes widened. That's right, her cultivation broke through. In one night, she actually rose 2 grades. Yesterday, Tian Chanzi's secret instructions were clearly of great help to her. Do you know how powerful I am? You are now only 2 grades higher than me. I will soon surpass you, Yi Ding Dang solemnly said. Then I'll congratulate you in advance. If you don't have anything to do this afternoon, accompany me to go shopping. Since Yi Ding Dang had already expressed her determination, she quickly launched her attack. What's this? Don't tell me you have other things to do. Hurry up and wash up. Then we'll have lunch together. After eating, we'll go shopping. Tang Zheng had no choice but to be pulled out of the male dormitory by Yi Ding Dang in front of everyone's eyes, causing waves of envious and jealous cries. In the middle of the night, Tang Zheng was finally able to escape from Yi Ding Dong's gentle village. He then came to the underground of the Imperial City and accompanied the Golden Dragon. This time, he also bought a lot of snacks and prepared to stay here for a long time. There were only 4 days left for National Day, and he wanted to use this time to quickly raise his cultivation. He first circulated his energy and gathered the yin qi in the Imperial City. Countless dense yin qi were absorbed into the War Soul Sword. The War Soul Sword's black light expanded and slowly recovered its strength. The War Soul Sword directly flew out of the War Soul Sword and absorbed the yin qi from all directions. The Golden Dragon watched him do all of this with interest, occasionally saying a few words. At the same time, Tang Zheng began to cultivate. When he activated the ancient clear heaven scroll, the spirit energy of heaven and earth quickly gathered in his body. Suddenly, the Golden Dragon cried out in alarm. Tang Zheng, what are you doing? Tang Zheng suddenly opened his eyes and looked at the Golden Dragon in surprise. What's wrong with you again? You're absorbing my dragon qi. The Golden Dragon roared in shock. I'm absorbing your dragon qi? Tang Zheng was shocked. Didn't the ancient emperors imprison the Golden Dragon here to absorb its dragon qi? When he channeled his energy, it actually had such a miraculous effect. Yes, how did you do it? The Golden Dragon was a little angry. I'm just cultivating normally. You're not allowed to absorb my dragon qi anymore. Tang Zheng's head moved. Since the ancient emperors coveted the dragon qi so much, it must be something good. So he said, didn't you have your dragon qi absorbed by others before? It's not like you'll die, so don't disturb my cultivation. If you want to leave earlier, you have to wait for me to raise my cultivation even faster. The Golden Dragon was speechless. Cunning human. Tang Zheng ignored the Golden Dragon. Since he was not worried that it would eat him, he focused on cultivating. This time, he finally sensed that there was an additional trace of golden energy in the spirit qi of heaven and earth that he was absorbing. This must be the dragon qi. The power contained within is even purer than normal spirit qi. Tang Zheng was overjoyed and continued to cultivate. For days passed in a flash. The War Soul Sword had recovered its former power, and even the War Soul had become more condensed. Its body had shrunk by a bit. Tang Zheng's harvest was even greater. Not only did he absorb a large amount of heaven and earth spirit qi, he also consumed a lot of spirit stones. He finally broke through to the 5th grade of the Foundation Establishment stage in one go. In addition, he had also completely mastered the 2nd move of the heaven-flying immortal sword art. The sword breaks 1,000 caddies. His fighting strength had once again taken a new leap. This time, he had benefited from the great battle with the Yen family. Not only had he personally participated in the battle, he had also watched the battle between the experts of the Great Master stage, which had greatly enlightened him. When the golden dragon saw that Tang Zheng's cultivation had risen to another level in a few days, it became even more confident in the celestial walker's cultivation speed. It was no longer worried about the dragon qi being absorbed, and instead invited Tang Zheng to cultivate every day. How could Tang Zheng have the time? The holidays were over, and he could not skip class on the first day. Chapter 3:11. Something big had indeed happened at Yinxing University. Several people from a military training had been admitted to the hospital and were unconscious. The members of 502, Guisu, and Wang Tong were all admitted to the hospital. They did not have any external injuries, but their bodies were covered in red spots, and they were unconscious. The hospital couldn't find anything either, which made the school very anxious. When Tang Zheng rushed to the hospital, he saw his former comrades lying on the white hospital beds. His heart felt like it had been stabbed. After asking the doctor, he found out that they had fallen ill 2 days ago. They were like this when they fell ill, and their vital signs were disappearing bit by bit. Yi Dingdang looked at the frowning Tang Zheng and comforted him. "Don't worry, the heavens help the good, so nothing will happen to them." Tang Zheng was silent. The hospital was helpless, and they could not find out what the disease was. This was not a good sign. Why are the 5 of them the only ones who fell ill? Tang Zheng asked, puzzled. Yi Dingdang shook her head. "I don't know. I heard that they were all fine before they fell ill. Some of them were even dating people from our dormitory. Once they fell ill, they became like this. It was very sudden. Is it an infectious disease?" The hospital has already concluded that it is not an infectious disease. But the hospital has already informed their families. They can't do anything. What do you mean they can't do anything? Isn't it their duty to save the dying and heal the injured? Tang Zheng was furious. The hospital has already done their best. They mobilized the best doctors in the city for a consultation, but they still can't do anything. This is like a new disease that has never been seen before. Then why are they the ones who fell ill, but the others are fine? Yi Dingdang shook her head and did not say anything. This was what she was most puzzled about. Sigh. The 5 of them were once our comrades. Now they are lying on the hospital beds. It is so sad. Military training. Tang Zheng's head lit up. That's right. These 5 people appeared at the terrorist base. Could it be related to the demons? Tang Zheng thought and asked, "What about Takashi Takashi?" Takashi Takashi? Why are you asking him? I heard that he's fine. Yi Dingdang was very puzzled. He's fine. Tang Zheng was very puzzled. Logically speaking, Takashi Takashi was also at the scene in the valley, so why was he not affected? Dingdang, you go back and rest first. We'll start class tomorrow. I'll stay behind to look after them. I'll accompany you. No need, you can go back. Seeing that Tang Zheng was determined, Yi Dingdang did not insist. She only told him to contact her if he needed anything. In the dead of night, Tang Zheng sat in the ward and looked at the few people who were on the verge of death. He felt that it was very strange. He suspected that this matter was related to the demon race. Just as he was about to check their bodies, the 5 of them sat up at the same time. Yes, the 5 of them moved at the same time, as if they were soldiers who had heard the order. Their eyes emitted a red light, which was extremely strange. Tang Zheng was shocked. What's going on? At the same time, the 5 of them quickly got out of bed and then walked out. Tang Zheng was thoughtful, but he did not stop them. All of this was too strange. These 5 people were like marionettes controlled by strings. He wanted to see where they were going. The 5 of them avoided the medical staff and walked out of the hospital. When they reached the street, the 5 of them suddenly accelerated. They had undergone strict military training, so their physical strength and endurance were not bad. They quickly ran. Fortunately, it was already the middle of the night. Otherwise, 5 people in hospital gowns running around would definitely cause a commotion. Tang Zheng unhurriedly followed behind the 5 of them. About half an hour later, they arrived at a small forest in a park. There was no one in the park. It was very quiet. The 5 of them familiarly walked to the center of the small forest. Tang Zheng stopped at a distance, but he could see everything in the forest. A person sat cross-legged on a rock. His body emitted a faint red light, which was very similar to the red light in the eyes of the 5 people. However, this person's back was facing Tang Zheng, so he could not see his face clearly. Could it be that this person is playing tricks behind the scenes? Tang Zheng did not act rashly. He wanted to see what this person wanted to do. At such a close distance, if the other party wanted to make things difficult for them, he could also rush out to help them. The high-level cultivation techniques of the demon clan are indeed extraordinary. I never thought that I would have such a great harvest from that trip to the valley. Not only did I obtain the demon god's blood essence, I also obtained this set of cultivation techniques. The man laughed and muttered to himself. The 5 of them stood in front of him, not moving an inch, not saying a word. High-level cultivation technique of the demon clan, demon god's blood essence. Tang Zheng's head trembled. Hearing this person's words, it seems that he also went to the terrorist base camp in the valley. The demon god's blood essence must be the red light that shot out in all directions after the demon god exploded. This person's voice is a little familiar. I seem to have heard it somewhere before. Takashi. Yes, this person is Master Gao. Back then in the valley, other than these 5 people, wasn't it Takashi and Marshall? Looking at his appearance, he is clearly a cultivator. How could Takashi be a cultivator? However, this also explains the series of unusual things that happened to Takashi. Takashi definitely knows that I am a cultivator. He is a poisonous snake that has been eyeing me covetously from the side. Tang Zheng felt a chill, as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Since he is from the demon clan, then he must be eliminated. Tang Zheng made up his mind, killing intent surging in his eyes. Takashi stood up and turned his face so that Tang Zheng could see it clearly. Takashi looked at the 5 people and said, "After absorbing the demon god's blood essence from the 5 of you, then I can reach the 1st grade of foundation establishment." Back then, even my master did not reach this realm. I did not expect that I would be able to reach it so quickly. The heavens are really helping me. When my power increases, I will definitely tear Tang Zheng into 10,000 pieces. You want to kill me? I will get rid of you today, Tang Zheng said quietly. Takashi's eyes flashed with a bright light. His fingers moved and made a very complicated gesture. Then, the 5 people let out a blood-curdling scream as a red light slowly rose above their heads. The 5 people's expressions were twisted in pain, and their life force was slowly being sucked away by the red light. This red light was the demon god's blood essence, and it had completely fused with their life force. If the demon god's blood essence was sucked away, then their life force would also be completely cut off. Tang Zheng instantly understood this point. He no longer hid and jumped out with a so sound. He did not shout. Wasn't that a reminder to Takashi? He quietly arrived behind Takashi. Takashi suddenly became alert and realized that there was someone behind him. It was too late for him to resist, so he jumped forward. Puff! Even so, his shoulder was pierced through by the War Soul sword, dripping with blood. Takashi landed on the ground in a sorry state. He turned his head and looked at Tang Zheng. He obviously recognized him and turned pale with fright. Tang Zheng, how could it be you? Why wouldn't it be me? Takashi, you really hit it well. You're actually from the demon clan, Tang Zheng said with a murderous look. It's really a small world. Tang Zheng, you've come to ruin my plans again. I'm going to tear you into 10,000 pieces. Takashi gnashed his teeth, his face sinister. You haven't even reached the foundation establishment realm, and you want to kill me? You're dreaming. Tang Zheng said disdainfully. Tang Zheng, don't be complacent. When I absorb the demon god's blood essence, it will be the time of your death. Is that so? I don't think you have that chance. Tang Zheng raised his sword and attacked. Takashi immediately counterattacked, but how could he be a match for Tang Zheng? Moreover, his shoulder was injured, so he kept retreating. Takashi, tell me the truth. When did you become a demon clan? This was what Tang Zheng was most confused about. Tang Zheng, didn't you boast that you were very powerful? How come there's something you don't know? I'm not some bullshit Takashi. I'm Taoist Tianji's disciple. Back then, I almost died at your hands. Fortunately, I was lucky. The others seemed to know that he was doomed, so he no longer hid his identity. It's you. Tang Zheng was shocked. Back then, you were lucky enough to escape. Today, there won't be such a good thing. This time, Tang Zheng finally understood the cause and effect. He didn't have any pity in his heart. This person wasn't Takashi. Takashi was already dead. He was just borrowing Takashi's body. Haha, you didn't expect this, right? Tang Zheng, let me tell you, even if I die, Lord Demon God will take revenge for me and tear you to pieces. What do you mean? Haha, of course you don't know who Lord Demon God is. I believe you will see him, but that will be the time of your death. The other party's expression became more and more sinister. Whether I die or not is a matter for the future. Right now, you will definitely die. Tang Zheng stabbed out with his sword. The strong pressure made the other party unable to resist. I'm not willing, Tang Zheng. I want you to die. The other party's eyes widened as he roared. However, this park was so big that no one could hear him. Pooh! The sword pierced his chest. The other party stared blankly at the battle soul sword in his chest. He spat out blood and muttered to himself, I never thought that this sword of mine would have such great power. This is no longer your sword. It has completely transformed. Tang Zheng disdainfully said. The battle soul sword was equivalent to a dead object having a soul. Its power was completely different. Go to hell and reunite with Taoist Tianji. In the future, you can no longer harm others. Tang Zheng pulled out the battle soul sword. The other party's eyes were wide open as his life force was completely cut off. Tang Zheng found a jade tablet on his body and immediately understood that this must be the high-level demon race cultivation technique that the other party was talking about. His heart moved. Could there be a way to save these 5 people? Thus, he quickly put away the jade tablet. As for Takashi's corpse, he naturally had a way to deal with it. He was just about to use his true fire to destroy the corpse when he saw a ball of red light floating over from afar. A terrifying aura covered the sky and covered the earth. Chapter 312. The demon god was here. Tang Zheng was shocked and quickly grabbed the 5 people and ran away. Fortunately, the 5 people were like puppets and did not move, so he could control them easily. They hid behind a big rock outside the woods and watched from a distance. The divine soul of the demon god stopped in front of Takashi's body, frowned, and said, It was him who contacted me. But who killed him? The divine soul was a mass of red light, without a specific human shape, but its strength was definitely not small. Tang Zheng did not dare to rush out rashly. It's just a shrimp soldier and crab general. It's good that he died. I can use his body to be reborn. The demon god sneered proudly, and the red light immediately wrapped Takashi. The wounds on Takashi's body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. A moment later, Takashi flipped over and stood up. A red light flashed in his eyes, and he laughed ferociously. God is helping me. I really came to this world. Warriors, wait. When I fully recover my strength, your doomsday will come. This world will belong to the demon race in the future. Tang Zheng heard it clearly and was shocked. There was no doubt that the demon god's current cultivation was far superior to Tang Zheng's. He could not go out and fight. Besides, there were 5 people around him, so it was more important to save his life. The demon god is really up to no good. I must stop him. Tang Zheng thought silently, but before he could think of a way, the demon god's figure flashed and disappeared without a trace. What should I do now? Isn't Tian Chanzi looking for the demon god? Should I tell him the whereabouts of the demon god? No, not to mention where Heaven Monk is right now. I don't know anything about it. Even if he is by my side, if I tell him that the demon god has taken over Gao Daji's body, then he will capture the demon god. If the 2 of them work together to summon all the cultivators back, then it will be a disaster for this world. Tang Zheng felt like he had fallen into an ice cave. He really had not figured out how to solve this problem. Let's wait and see. We don't know where the demon god will go. I should get these people back to the hospital first. It took a lot of effort for Tang Zheng to bring the 5 of them back to the hospital. They were in a coma again. Previously, Takashi must have used the method in the Jade Tablet to summon them. Why don't I take a look at the Jade Tablet and see if there's a way to resolve it? With a thought, Tang Zheng sank into the Jade Plate. Immediately, he found the solution to the problem in the Jade Plate. However, this method did not extract the demonic god's blood essence from their bodies, because the blood essence had already fused with their lives. If it was extracted, they would definitely lose their lives. Instead, it used a special method to seal the blood essence so that it could not harm its master. Taking advantage of the dead of the night, when no one would disturb him, Tang Zheng immediately used this secret technique to seal the demon god blood essence in the 5 of them. That way, they would be safe and sound in the future. After all this last night, Tang Zheng played with the Jade Tablet and thought, this is the high-level cultivation method of the demon race. Is there anything I can practice? Tian Chanzi once said that in fact, the demon race and the people of the righteous Tao have become mortal enemies because of different cultivation methods. If I practice the demon race's cultivation method, wouldn't I also fall into the demon path? He was shocked, but then he thought about it. Since the righteous Tao and the demon race were enemies, they should know each other. Only then could they be undefeated. Understanding the other party's cultivation method would be helpful in dealing with the demon race in the future. There was more than one set of cultivation methods in the Jade Tablet. Tang Zheng skimmed through them one by one and found that the demon race's cultivation method was indeed insidious. Many of them were methods to absorb other people's lifespan and blood essence to improve their cultivation. No wonder it was criticized as the demon path. Hey, swallowing the sky technique. Suddenly, Tang Zheng stopped at a set of cultivation method. This swallowing the sky technique did not need to consume other people's lifespan or blood essence. This set of cultivation method is interesting. It doesn't say what kind of power I can achieve after practicing it, but since this is a high-level cultivation method of the demon race, and it is not so insidious, why don't I give it a try? Anyway, the night was long. Tang Zheng began to practice this swallowing the sky technique. After a while, there was no change in his body. Even his Zhen Qi did not fluctuate at all. This made him distressed. Could it be that I can't learn this swallowing the sky technique? Am I not Skywalker? I shouldn't be so stupid. Tang Zheng scratched his head and said unhappily, I don't care about it for the time being. I will slowly study it when I have time in the future. Suddenly, his throat stopped moving. He stared dumbfoundedly at the chair he had just slapped. No, the chair was no longer there. The place where the chair had been was empty. The chair disappeared into thin air. Tang Zheng was dumbfounded. F***, what is going on? He was confused. He didn't do anything just now. Was there a ghost? Of course there was no ghost. He turned his hand and stared at his palm, but there was nothing strange. That's strange. Why did the chair disappear? Could it be the effect of this swallowing the sky technique? He was surprised and happy. He originally thought that he would not be able to practice this cultivation method. He hurriedly used the trick of the transcending sky technique and put his hand on the chair again. Whoosh, the chair disappeared. He could not believe it. This was really the effect of the swallowing the sky technique. But where did the chair go? There is no mention of it in the cultivation method. Whatever, as long as it was effective, it was fine. But if the chair was effective, would the other things be effective? He put his hand on other things. The cup, the towel, and the fruit all disappeared. He did not dare to continue the experiment. Can I make living things, such as people, disappear? If I am fighting with an enemy, I can make them disappear with a slap of my hand. That would be awesome. However, he could not test this out. He could not test it on a living person. The sky gradually brightened. Tang Zheng lay on the chair and fell asleep. The people on the bed gradually woke up and looked at each other. Sinosaurus asked, Where are we? Damn, Lao Si, you're awake? Second bro, you're awake too? Wang Shiji also asked in bewilderment. Do Long was startled and said, Could it be that I'm also unconscious? That's right. You and OL are both unconscious. Yeah, why am I wearing a hospital gown like you guys? Could it be that I'm also unconscious? Wang Shiji stared straight at himself. Damn, does that mean that everyone in our dormitory is unconscious? Where's Lao San? Did he faint too? Isn't Lao San lying on the chair? He really did faint. Zhou Yang turned pale with fright. Suddenly, he saw the two people beside him. Egwisu, Wang Tong, why are you here too? Did you faint too? What's going on? Don't worry about anything else. Hurry up and wake Lao San up. Sinosaurus turned over and got off the bed. He grabbed Tang Zheng's body and shook it. Lao San, hurry up and wake up. Tang Zheng was in a deep sleep. He was suddenly shaken awake. He angrily said, Lao Air, what are you doing? Sinosaurus took a deep breath and said, Lao San, you have to thank me for saving your life. If I didn't wake you up, you would have been in a coma forever. Tang Zheng rolled his eyes. He already understood what was going on. He snappily said, I just woke up from my sleep. You guys are all awake. That's great. Tang Zheng said that the method on the jade tablet worked. At this time, the nurse walked in. She screamed as if she had seen a ghost. She pointed at them and said, You guys, why are you guys awake? Why can't we wake up? Do you want us to die? They snappily said, That's not what I meant. The nurse quickly explained. These people had been given a notice of critical illness. They were already on the verge of death. She didn't expect that they would be so lively after one night. I'll go call the doctor. Don't move around. The nurse quickly left, and after a while, the doctor came and questioned the five of them. In the end, even the school's leader came. Originally, they thought that the hair problem was extremely difficult, but unexpectedly, it was solved just like that. Everyone was overjoyed. In the end, they immediately informed their families that they didn't need to come to school. Some of their parents were even at the airport. They only returned when they heard the news. When they returned to school, Yi Dingdang came to Tang Zheng's side and quietly asked, Did you save them? Tang Zheng smiled, but didn't say anything. Don't worry, I won't say anything. Your medical skills are really amazing. No wonder the King of Medicine is still thinking about you and wants to take you as his disciple. This time, he had indeed saved someone, but it had nothing to do with his medical skills. Of course, this matter could not be told to outsiders, so he did not want to say too much. The first class of the archaeology department had finally begun. 30 or so people were gathered in one place, and Tang Zheng even found Ding Xiaowan's figure in the crowd. She was Takashi's brainless fan. If she knew that he had already killed Takashi, she might hate him to death. After the day's class ended, Tang Zheng and his roommates were preparing to walk back to their dorms. Suddenly, Sinosaurus clicked his tongue and said with a wink, Pay attention, there's an enemy 30 meters ahead. Tang Zheng was shocked. He thought that there was some danger and immediately raised his head to look. Damn, where did the enemy come from? It was clearly a woman. TSK, this woman is so beautiful. She must be a senior. Why don't we go up and strike up a conversation? Sinosaurus's saliva was about to drip all over the ground. Zhou Yang agreed. It's indeed not bad. Her waist is thin, her legs are long, and her breasts are big. The key is that seductive smell that makes one's imagination run wild. Wang Shiji curled his lips and said, This woman is definitely not serious. She's wearing so little. This woman was indeed wearing very little. She was wearing a mini skirt and had a low chest. As she walked forward, her chest rose and fell like waves. Sinosaurus patted Wang Shiji's shoulder and said, Boss, you must be ignorant. This kind of woman is very tasty, especially on the bed. Wang Shiji rolled her eyes at him and said indifferently, You speak as if you've tried it before. You're not a virgin yet. Sinosaurus's scar was exposed, and he said with a red face, This is the experience of our predecessors. You know, boss, I'm passing on my experience to you. How can you expose me? Stop messing around. Look at her walking towards us. Zhou Yang anxiously said. Chapter 3:13. Tang Zheng helplessly looked at the incomparably excited Do Long. His second brother was thinking too much this time. This woman was not an ordinary person. She was actually Yi Meiyu. Yi Meiyu walked over leisurely and stood in front of them. However, she stared straight at Tang Zheng and went straight to the point. "Let's go eat together." Sinosaurus and the other two were dumbstruck, their jaws almost falling to the ground. Was there a mistake? This beauty was here to look for Ol-San again, and even took the initiative to invite him to a meal. Ol-San's luck with women was too strong. Tang Zheng asked without changing his expression, "What's the matter?" "You'll know when you get there." The corner of Yi Meiyu's mouth raised slightly, blooming with a charming smile. "I have something to do, so I can't go." Tang Zheng did not have a good impression of Yi Meiyu. Moreover, when she was with Chu Xiaofeng, he subconsciously did not want to have too much contact with her. Hearing him reject her without hesitation, a trace of astonishment flashed across Yi Meiyu's eyes. Facing her invitation, Tang Zheng actually rejected it. It was too unbelievable. Sinosaurus and the other two also felt that it was inconceivable. Zhou Yang touched Tang Zheng's shoulder and said softly, "OL3, how can you reject a beauty's invitation?" "OL3, if you don't go, I'll go," Sinosaurus said excitedly. Wang Shiji rolled his eyes at him and said, "OL2, don't interrupt. Infinity, she's here to look for OL3, not you." Sinosaurus fought for justice. "If you don't even go with such a beauty's invitation, wouldn't that be a waste of heaven's gifts?" "OL3, can I go in your place?" "You can ask her." Tang Zheng walked around Yi Meiyu and headed straight for the dormitory, leaving Yi Meiyu standing there dumbstruck. "Beauty, can I accompany you to eat?" Sinosaurus said with a bashful face. Yi Meiyu's heart moved, and she said, "If you persuade Tang Zheng to eat with me, then I will agree to it next time." Sinosaurus beamed with joy. "All right." Then he quickly ran over and pulled Tang Zheng. "OL3, for the sake of this bro's happiness, you must go eat this meal." Tang Zheng laughed bitterly. "OL3, she's not your type." "Who said that? I think she's pretty good. Hurry up and eat with her, then I can have dinner with her next time." "OL2, you're lustful." Zhou Yang and Wang Shiji teased each other. "You guys are the ones who are blinded by lust. This is a beauty, so of course we have to give her face." "Old 3, don't worry, we definitely won't tell you, Ding Dang." Tang Zheng, 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 Tang. Did Chu, Tang Zheng, Zheng, Tang Zheng of. Dolong was overjoyed. "Huh, this is still a good brother. Let's go." Yi Meiyu pointed to a sports car at the side, then directly sat on it, carrying Tang Zheng away, leaving behind Sinosaurus and the others who smacked their lips. "Damn, this is a rich second generation, a sports car and a beauty. This is too explosive." "So you have no chance, OL2? "Damn, what if there's a chance? A beautiful car and a beautiful woman. How explosive would that be?" Tang Zheng and Yi Meiyu did not go far. They stopped in front of a restaurant near the school. Yi Meiyu looked at the small restaurant in front of her and frowned. "Are we eating here?" "Yes, I think it's pretty good." Tang Zheng walked straight down, attracting the attention of many people. After all, such a flashy sports car appearing beside the school was still very eye-catching. Especially when Yi Meiyu got out of the car, it caused a burst of exclamations. Many people looked at Tang Zheng with eyes filled with envy and jealousy. Tang Zheng did not know Yi Meiyu's goal, so of course he would not follow her to the place she had designated. What if there was an ambush? Therefore, it was better to be careful. Tang Zheng walked straight into the restaurant, and Yi Meiyu followed him in with a displeased expression. It was obvious that she, the young miss of a rich family, had never been to such a place before. "Is the food here clean?" Yi Meiyu asked in a low voice. The waiter at the side immediately opened his eyes wide, but seeing that she had come down from the sports car, he did not dare to criticize her. "If you don't want to eat, you can leave. I'm hungry anyway." Tang Zheng pointed to the menu and ordered 2 dishes and a soup, telling the waiter to serve them as soon as possible. Yi Meiyu was restless, but she resisted the urge to leave. Seeing her like this, Tang Zheng felt that her intentions were not simple and became vigilant. He went straight to the point and said, "If you have something to say, just say it." Hee hee. Yi Meiyu chuckled. How are you and Yi Ding Dang right now? This doesn't seem to have anything to do with you. Who do you think is more beautiful, me or Yi Ding Dang? Yi Meiyu hooked her hair with her pinky and asked with a charming smile. To be honest, Yi Meiyu and Yi Ding Dang were two completely different kinds of beauty. Yi Meiyu was more charming, and Yi Ding Dang was a valiant kind of beauty. Of course, Ding Dang is more beautiful. Tang Zheng did not have a good expression on her face and said straightforwardly. Yi Meiyu choked. A strange look flashed across her eyes. How is that possible? That girl is too inexperienced. Only a man who truly understands women would know that I am more beautiful. Then it seems that I'm different from other men. Men are all the same. Tang Zheng, I'll get straight to the point with you, kick Yi Ding Dang, and then marry me. I'll guarantee you a high position and wealth. What? Tang Zheng thought that he had misheard. She actually wanted him to kick Yi Ding Dang and marry her. This is the best for you. Yi Ding Dang's father will not be able to inherit the position of the head of the Ye family in the future, and only my father has the qualifications. If you marry me, then you will be able to obtain the greatest benefits. Yi Meiyu said indifferently. Tang Zheng's jaw almost fell to the ground. Was this woman crazy? She actually came up with this idea. Didn't she always look down on Tang Zheng? Why did she want to marry him now? In the past, Yi Meiyu looked down on Tang Zheng, but that was because she did not know of Tang Zheng's strength. However, the things that happened in the Yin family of Mount Longxiang had already spread to the ears of many people, and Yi Meiyu was one of them. She never thought that the fellow she thought was useless would actually have a great stage master, and his own strength was not weak either. Her original plan to hook Chu Xiaofeng up had failed, so she urgently needed to find the next person. However, there were too few people in the capital to choose from, and Tang Zheng's sudden appearance made her eyes light up. Wasn't Tang Zheng the person she needed the most? She was unwilling to let such an outstanding person fall into the hands of Yi Ding Dang. If Tang Zheng really married Yi Ding Dang, then Yi Qianlei's position in the old man's heart would rise, and it would be unknown who would become the head of the family in the future. That was why she couldn't wait to find Tang Zheng. Of course, in her heart, Tang Zheng was still a person who wanted to climb up the social ladder, so she directly pointed out the benefits to him. She believed that he would definitely abandon Yi Ding Dang and grovel under her pomegranate dress. Looking at Tang Zheng's surprised expression, she thought that he was flattered, so she said, "As long as we join hands, we will definitely be able to obtain enough benefits in the future. This is a win-win situation. Moreover, I am so beautiful, I will definitely not let you suffer a loss." As he spoke, he threw a flirtatious glance at Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng came back to his senses and had already guessed the other party's thoughts. He laughed disdainfully. "Your plan is really amazing. Of course, what's so good about that girl Yi Ding Dang? As long as my father takes over, I guarantee that his family will be chased out of the Ye family again. You're a smart person. You won't be able to get any benefits from following them," Yi Meiyu said complacently. Tang Zheng was about to reject her righteously when suddenly, his pupils constricted as he looked at the four people at the door in shock. They had also walked into the restaurant and arrived at a table beside Tang Zheng. "It's you." Suddenly, a cry of alarm sounded. These were indeed old acquaintances. They were actually Ding Xiaowan, Meng Yao, and Shen Kuan, who they had met on the train. The other person was the key to causing such a huge reaction from Tang Zheng. Takashi. No, to be precise, it was the demon god. He was actually together with these three people and was even talking and laughing. Why was the demon god with these three people? Could it be that he inherited the memories of Taoist Tianji's disciple and then ran back to school to study? Meng Yao's exclamation caused the other three to look at Tang Zheng at the same time. Ding Xiaowan and Shen Kuan both revealed astonished expressions, their gazes sweeping across Yi Meiyu's face, and they all revealed stunned expressions. They thought to themselves, how could this brat be so lucky with women, to actually find such a hot beauty? The demon god's gaze swept across Tang Zheng's face, and then fixed on Yi Meiyu's face, a red light flashing in his eyes. Tang Zheng saw that the demon god's gaze did not linger on him for long, and could not help but heave a sigh of relief. This meant that he did not attract the other party's attention, which meant that even if the demon god inherited the memories, it would definitely not have any memories of him. After all, Takashi's body was indeed dead at that time, and the demon god must have inherited incomplete memories. Tang Jing's worried heart finally settled back into his stomach, but then a bellyful of questions emerged. Why didn't he run away to hide and cultivate? Why did he come to school like him? Tang Zheng did not think that the demon god was here to learn. He definitely had some ulterior motive. Why are you here? Meng Yao asked arrogantly. Her memory of the guy she looked down on the train was still fresh, especially the scene of him being picked up by a luxury car. It was as if she had been possessed and was firmly fixed in her mind. Actually, this was a psychological distortion caused by a huge difference. She had always thought that Tang Zheng was a lousy guy, but when she suddenly found out that he was with a girl who was even more beautiful than her, she felt a strong sense of disgust. The one who felt the same as her was Shun Kuan. He had always looked down on Tang Zheng, and seeing that Tang Zheng was with different beauties twice, his eyes turned red with jealousy. This brat must be deliberately trying to trick a woman into liking him. We must expose his sinister face. Shin Kuan took a step forward and said righteously, Tang Zheng, you are too despicable. Miss, don't believe him. This person is a liar who specializes in tricking girls into liking him. Chapter 314. Everyone looked at Tang Zheng with eyes full of disdain. So it turns out that he was just a pretty boy who lied. Tang Zheng was secretly furious. He and Shen Kuan actually did not have much to do with each other, yet he was slandering him like this. Before he could reply, Yu Meiyu had already stood up. Who do you think you are? You don't have the right to speak here. Scram to the side. Yi Meiyu's temper exploded. Although she also saw Tang Zheng as someone who was trying to climb up the social ladder, she would not tolerate others saying such things. That was simply an insult to her. Shin Kuan was startled for a moment. He looked at this beauty who had flipped out in disbelief. I'm doing this for your own good. Why are you still angry? Shun Kuan's face turned the color of a pig's liver and continued to persuade. Miss, you misunderstood. I'm helping you. Yi Meiyu said in disdain. Who do you think you are to have the qualifications to help me? Shin Kuan was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Meng Yao pulled Shin Kuan and advised, don't lower yourself to the same level as these people. Dogs bite Lu Dongbin. They don't know how to appreciate good intentions. Who are you calling a dog? Do you believe that I won't let you see the sun tomorrow? Yi Meiyu roared. The young Mrs. Temper was indeed not ordinary. What? Do you want to kill me? Meng Yao retorted, unconvinced. Seeing that both sides were about to be dealt with, and that the demon god was still eyeing them covetously from the side, Tang Zheng did not want to be entangled, and immediately stood up and said, let's go. He put down the money and walked out of the restaurant. Yi Meiyu was startled for a moment. She glared at them fiercely, then quickly walked out and got into the sports car together. What kind of person is this? Seriously. Meng Yao curled her lips. Shun Kuan said in disdain, let's not lower ourselves to the same level as this kind of person. The demon god looked at Yi Meiyu's back as she disappeared behind the car door, deep in thought. Inside the car, Yi Meiyu was still panting with rage. Who are these people? How dare they? Why didn't you take care of them? There's no need to pay attention to a clown. Yi Meiyu rolled her eyes and said, then let's go to another place to continue eating. No need. I'm going back to my dorm to sleep. The corner of Yi Meiyu's mouth curled up as she placed her fair hand on Tang Zheng's thigh and said, it's boring to go back to the dorm to sleep. I'll take you somewhere. This was blatant seduction. Of course, Tang Zheng knew what would happen after he went, but he really didn't want to have that kind of relationship with Yi Meiyu, so he straightforwardly refused. It's impossible between you and me. Please don't waste your time. Why? No reason. Only by being with me will you be able to obtain the greatest benefits. Yi Meiyu said resolutely. I don't need it. Stop the car in front. I want to get off. Tang Jing's reaction was out of Yi Meiyu's expectations as she looked at him in disbelief. Seeing his resolute expression, her expression suddenly changed as she said, "Tang Zheng, I will make you regret this." "Do you regret it?" "Hee hee, you don't have the ability." Tang Zheng got off the car, and Yi Meiyu looked at his back hatefully and said, "I will definitely not let you succeed. Don't think that just because you have Yi Ding Dang as a high branch, you can rest easy." Tang Zheng did not return to school. This unexpected encounter with the demon god made him feel a strong sense of danger, and he had to raise his cultivation as soon as possible. He came to the imperial city once again and cultivated for an entire night before returning to school. He was prepared to understand the general curriculum for the next few days and then choose to listen to what he was interested in. When he walked into the classroom, Sinosaurus and the others immediately surrounded him and said, "OL3, tell me honestly, where did you go with that beauty last night? You actually didn't return all night." "Yes, OL3, you don't know how cold my heart is. Such a great beauty has also fallen into your demonic hands," Sinosaurus said with a bitter face. OL3, you don't know, old 2 almost didn't sleep last night. He kept thinking about what you and that beauty did. "I didn't do anything." "Then why didn't you return to the dorm?" "There's something I need to take care of outside," Tang Zheng said. The three of them obviously did not believe him and looked at him with a mischievous smile. "It's him." Suddenly, an angry voice came from behind. Tang Zheng turned his head to look, only to see Ding Xiaowan pointing at Tang Zheng with reddened eyes. Behind her were a few police officers with serious expressions. "What's going on?" Everyone was confused. The police walked towards Tang Zheng with large strides, their faces full of vigilance, and said sternly, "Student, come with us." "What are you doing?" Tang Zheng asked with a frown. Ding Xiaowan was on the verge of tears and complained loudly. "Tang Zheng, stop pretending. You kill Meng Yao and Shen Kuan, right?" "Kill." The crowd suddenly burst into exclamations and looked at Tang Zheng at the same time. "Hey, Ding Xiaowan, don't spout nonsense. How could our OL3 kill people?" Zhou Yang immediately stepped forward and retorted loudly. "Why doesn't he kill people? It's not like he hasn't killed anyone before." Ding Xiaowan recalled the legendary massacre that Tang Zheng had committed in a border town and became even more furious. Tang Zheng had killed before. Huh. This news was too explosive. Everyone in the classroom immediately dispersed, hiding far away from Tang Zheng. Of course, the 3 members of 502 were an exception. The few policemen acted as if they were facing a great enemy. They did not know about this situation and immediately surrounded Tang Zheng. "Don't move. Come with us." As he spoke, he was about to come up and grab Tang Zheng. How could Tang Zheng give in? He easily pushed a few policemen away. The few policemen looked at each other in dismay and believed Ding Xiaowan's words even more. Tang Zheng's anger soared. What the F***CK was going on? "Ding Xiaowan, don't slander me. I didn't kill Meng Yao and Shen Kuan. Be careful that I don't sue you for slander," Tang Zheng said while gnashing his teeth. "Yesterday, you quarreled with them and harbored a grudge in your heart. Moreover, the woman with you even said that they wouldn't be able to see the sun today. If it wasn't you, who else could it be?" It was no wonder that Ding Xiaowan was angry. Early in the morning, she received a call saying that her 2 best friends had been killed, and she subconsciously thought of the conflict yesterday. That was why when the police came to investigate, she directly brought them to Tang Zheng. Just based on this point, you want to determine that I'm a murderer? Ding Xiaowan, you're too arbitrary. Right, we're all in the same class. We're all classmates. Ding Xiaowan, you're not being nice enough. Sinosaurus echoed. Stop arguing. No matter what the truth is, come with us to the police station for investigation first. The policeman said with a cold face. This has nothing to do with me. Why should I be investigated? Don't talk so much nonsense. If you don't leave, you'll be resisting arrest. Your crime will be increased by 1. The policeman said sternly. As soon as he finished speaking, several policemen took out their pistols. Cries of alarm rose from the crowd. They had used their guns. This time, things had gotten out of hand. The people who were originally in the classroom ran out of the back door like a swarm of bees, watching from afar. If you dare to shoot, then you have to think of the consequences. And you, Ding Xiaowan, if anyone is injured because of you today, you will feel guilty for the rest of your life. Tang Zheng's face was gloomy to the extreme. A trace of hesitation flashed past Ding Xiaowan's eyes, but he instantly became resolute and said, Tang Zheng, don't make it sound so nice. You must be responsible for their deaths. If you have the guts, then kill the four of us together. We believe that OL3 didn't kill anyone. Sinosaurus and the other two stepped forward at the same time and stood in front of Tang Zheng, blocking their line of sight. Zhou Yang whispered, OL3, hurry up and leave. We'll block them. Tang Zheng was moved and said, I won't leave. I want to see what kind of tricks they will play. If you say that I killed someone, then take out the evidence. Otherwise, don't even think about letting me go with you. Tang Zheng knew that there was no way for him to attend this class, so he simply walked towards the door in large strides. Don't move. The policeman raised his pistol and aimed it at Tang Zheng. Otherwise, we'll shoot. Tang Zheng acted as if he did not hear anything and walked straight towards the police. Bang! The sound of a gunshot rang out. The commotion within the campus was exceptionally loud, and everyone felt as if their hearts had been struck by a heavy blow. Tang Zheng was furious. These people really dared to shoot. He easily dodged the bullet hitting the wall, causing debris to fly everywhere. So. A figure flashed, and before the few policemen could see it clearly, they realized that their guns were gone, while Tang Zheng had a few more guns in his hands. The few of them turned pale with fright. Knowing that they had met an expert, they hurriedly shouted, Hurry up and call for help. Before the others could clearly see what Tang Zheng had done, they realized that he had already snatched the gun away, and all of them revealed expressions of disbelief. Even Ding Xiaowan's expression changed greatly, as he looked at Tang Zheng in disbelief. She never thought that Tang Zheng would be so powerful. The few policemen looked at each other and retreated. They said with a fierce expression, Don't move. If you dare to shoot, then it's an attack on the police. Tang Zheng said disdainfully, It's reasonable for you to shoot me, and for me to shoot you is a disgraceful attack on the police. Isn't this a little too unfair? As he spoke, he swept the muzzle of his gun across their bodies, scaring them to the point that their faces turned ashen. They wanted to escape, but they didn't dare to. After all, they couldn't run faster than bullets. This time, he had really lost a lot of face. Hurry up and put down the gun. You will be in a miserable state. Is that so? Didn't you call for help just now? I'll wait for a smart person to come before I say anything. A few of you, go to the corner and squat down. Tang Zheng raised his eyebrows, showing off his might without being angry. The few of them felt a chill in their hearts, as they felt a kind of fear from the bottom of their hearts. No, it was an impulse that made them want to submit, as if Tang Zheng was an unreachable mountain and they were ants at the foot of the mountain. However, they did not know that Tang Zheng had absorbed a lot of dragon qi, and with every move he made, there was a sense of majesty. Normally, he would not show it, but this time, under his rage, it gushed out like a volcano. Ding Xiaowan's face was already pale white, and the other students were even further away, as if Tang Zheng was a homicidal maniac. Tang Zheng chuckled and did not explain further. He turned to the people behind him and said, You guys go out first. There will definitely be a large number of police officers coming over later. OL3, this is too much, Zhou Yin said worriedly. Yes, you didn't kill anyone. Just explain it to them clearly. Wang Shiji advised. Tang Zheng had been to the police station once, and he did not want to go there a second time. How could he let these preconceived policemen take him away? Chapter 315. This time, the commotion was indeed huge. The teaching building had already been cleared out, leaving only a few people in the classroom. However, the outside of the teaching building was already surrounded by students. It was a major case involving a gun, and it was a murder case. These students' excited cells were all activated as they craned their necks to look at the teaching building. A vice principal had already rushed to the scene. His face was ashen as he hesitated in front of the teaching building. This was a gun case. Bullets did not have eyes. What if he went up and ate a bullet? However, he could not just wait like this. He could only brace himself and walk into the teaching building. When he arrived at the door of the classroom and looked inside, he was so scared that his legs went weak. He saw a few pistols on the desk beside Tang Zheng, while he sat calmly on the desk, without the slightest trace of fear. On the other hand, the few policemen opposite him were squatting in a corner in a sorry state. The police were captured by the students. The vice principal felt a headache coming on. This was the first time such a thing had happened in the 100 years since the school was founded. In addition, Sinosaurus and the other two whispered to Tang Zheng, as if they were discussing countermeasures, while Ding Xiaoan stood beside the police, glaring at Tang Zheng indignantly, as if she wanted to skin him alive. The people inside, listen up, put down your weapons, quickly come out, and cooperate with the police investigation. The vice principal mustered up his courage and roared. Everyone in the classroom looked towards the door at the same time. Tang Zheng chuckled, but did not comment. Seeing that, Sinosaurus and the others quickly advised, "The school leaders are here. What should we do?" "Salad." Tang Zheng spread out his hands. "The school leaders can't make the decision. We'll wait for the police to make the decision." "Wouldn't that be more troublesome?" Wang Shiji said worriedly. Tang Zheng laughed, but did not say anything. Zhou Yang's heart moved. He patted Wang Shiji's shoulder and said, "Boss, don't worry. I see that Lao San is full of confidence. So let's wait a little longer and see what kind of tricks they can play. If they dare to slander others, I guarantee that they won't be able to bear the consequences." Tang Zheng looked at Zhou Yang with interest, while Sinosaurus patted his chest and said passionately, "Lao San, don't worry, we'll guarantee you." When the vice principal heard this, his face turned green and white. These students had really overturned the heavens. They actually dared to be so arrogant in front of him and did not even by his account. Ding Xiaoan looked at the few of them who were acting without restraint and said angrily, "Teacher, Tang Zheng killed my friends. You must uphold justice for them." The vice principal looked at Ding Xiaoan snappily. He had not informed the school about this matter at all, and had caught the school off guard. As a result, the vice principal did not have much of a good impression of Ding Xiaoan, and only stared at Tang Zheng and the others, saying, "Hurry up and let him go. What's the meaning of this?" Tang Zheng did not say anything, and casually picked up the pistol. Seeing that, the vice principal screamed in fright, and immediately retreated to the side, shouting, "Don't be stubborn. Quickly put down the gun and follow the police, or else in the end, you will be the one to harm yourself." Zhou Yin could not bear to watch any longer, and said loudly, Tang Zheng was framed by them. If he were to follow them, wouldn't he be like a sheep entering a tiger's den? Do you want to go against the police? There won't be a good ending. Tang Zheng played with the pistol and said indifferently, "I don't want to go against anyone, but if anyone wants to frame me, they will definitely regret it." As he said that, he looked deeply at Ding Xiaoan. Ding Xiaoan felt as if he had fallen into an ice cave and felt the cold enter his body. "Come out first and explain what's going on. The police won't wrong you." The vice principal continued to roar. Tang Zheng shook his head and said, "Let's wait a little longer. It won't be too late to wait for the police leaders to arrive." The vice principal was so anxious that his forehead was sweating profusely. If this matter was not resolved quickly, it would definitely cause a huge uproar, and the school's reputation would also be damaged. Thus, his face darkened. "Do you want to be expelled? Haha, are you in such a hurry to get rid of your relationship?" Tang Zheng said in disdain. The vice principal was at his wit's end. Dong dong dong. Suddenly, the sound of hurried footsteps could be heard. A few security guards chased after a person and shouted, "Student, you can't go in." A figure suddenly arrived and stood at the entrance of the classroom. He pounced towards Tang Zheng and shouted, "Tang Zheng, what happened to you? Are you hurt?" This person was of course Yi Ding Dang. "Why are you here?" Tang Zheng asked curiously. Seeing that Tang Zheng was safe and sound, Yi Dingdang could not help but heave a sigh of relief. He glanced at the policeman squatting in the corner and said, "I heard that someone framed you for murder." Ding Xiaoan reprimanded loudly. "It's not a false accusation at all. It's the truth." Yi Dingdang swept his cold brows and said, "Humph, the truth? Ridiculous. How could Tang Zheng kill someone?" Yi Dingdang understood Tang Zheng very well. He was not someone who would willfully kill the innocent. There must be a misunderstanding. Seeing that Ding Xiaoan insisted that Tang Zheng had killed someone, she naturally did not have a good expression on her face. The vice principal was well aware of Yi Dingdang's background and looked at her in astonishment as she asked Tang Zheng about his well-being. His heart moved, and he immediately asked, "Student Yi Dingdang, do you know Tang Zheng?" "Of course, I guarantee that Tang Zheng did not kill anyone. Someone is framing him," Yi Dingdang said resolutely with a cold face, and even glared at Ding Xiaoan with a deep meaning. Ding Xiaoan flew into a rage. "Are you saying that I framed him? Nonsense. My friend had a conflict with him yesterday and died today. Other than him, who else would do such a crazy thing? Don't think that I don't know what he did during the military training. This is not the first time he has killed someone." The vice principal was shocked when he heard this. He did not know what happened during the military training because those things were kept secret. He revealed half of his head in fear and looked at Tang Zheng from afar with incomparable fear. However, seeing that Yi Dingdang was so protective of Tang Zheng, the vice principal had already turned around. Regardless of whether Tang Zheng was the murderer or not, since the Ye family was protecting him, then he would definitely be safe and sound. Didn't that mean that the school's reputation could be saved? The vice principal seemed to have awoken from a dream. That's right. He had to get rid of the responsibility of the students in order to protect the school's reputation. As a result, his attitude instantly changed 180 degrees, and he stared at Ding Xiaoan and said, "This matter has not been investigated clearly, so you cannot make such an arbitrary judgment." Ding Xiaoan was startled. She did not know why his attitude had suddenly changed so drastically, and she stared at him blankly. When they saw the change in the vice principal's attitude, they all looked at Yi Dingdang in shock. Just what kind of background did this student have to actually make the school's attitude change so quickly? However, the police had suffered a huge loss at the hands of Tang Zheng. Even if the school's attitude had changed, they did not plan to let it go so easily. One of them immediately retorted, but he attacked the police. "This is a matter of conclusive evidence." Yi Dingdang did not care at all and retorted, "If you did not frame him, why would he resist? Umph, you even dare to use a gun on him. Who gave you the right?" The sound of footsteps suddenly came out. The police reinforcements had arrived. In a moment, a large group of armed police rushed in from the corridor, all of them aiming their guns at Tang Zheng. "Put down the gun, put your hands on your head, and come out." Sinosaurus and the other two turned pale as they looked at Tang Zheng worriedly. Tang Zheng acted as if he did not see it, and Yi Dingdang even jumped in front of Tang Zheng to block him. She opened her arms like an eagle protecting its cub and said fearlessly, "If you want to capture Tang Zheng, you have to kill me first, otherwise no one will be able to take him away." Yi Dingdang's reaction was unexpected. No one thought that she would risk her life to protect Tang Zheng. Everyone looked at Tang Zheng with a complicated gaze. What kind of magic did he have? The vice principal was shocked. What kind of status did Yi Dingdang have? If something were to happen to her in school, the consequences would be unimaginable. Who knows how many people would lose their jobs? Thus, he immediately stopped them. "You are not allowed to fire." The vice president was afraid of Tang Zheng, but he was not afraid of the police because the police did not dare to do anything to him. With the vice president's obstruction, although Tang Zheng was in front of them, the police did not dare to act rashly. This time, the leader was a deputy director. He strode over, looked at the scene in the classroom, and said sternly, "If you continue to be stubborn, the police will shoot." "Why don't you try to shoot?" Yi Dingdang said through gritted teeth. Tang Zheng patted Yi Dingdang's shoulder, walked past her, and faced the muzzle of the gun and said, I'm standing right here if you have the guts, shoot. The deputy director was shocked. He had seen many desperados, but he had never seen such a person. The vice president was so anxious that he broke out in a cold sweat. He quickly whispered in the deputy director's ear, "You must not shoot. This is a misunderstanding, especially that girl. You must not hurt her, or things will get out of hand." The deputy director was stunned for a moment and asked, "Who is she?" "She is from the Yeff family." "Yeff family?" The deputy director's face turned pale. If the capital dared to be called the Yeff family, then it was naturally one of the four great families. If he had a grudge with someone from such a large family, his career would probably come to an end. There must be a misunderstanding. Don't be impatient. Let's understand the whole story first, the vice president advised. The deputy director also understood the stakes and said, "Then ask him to let them go first. Our people are being held like this, so it's not a good idea." This was really a great loss of face for the police. Several police officers came to arrest the student, but they were arrested instead. If word got out, they would be laughed at to death. The vice president nodded and said, "Student Tang Zheng, don't be impulsive. Since you say that this is a misunderstanding, then let's sit down and talk. Let these police officers go first." Seeing the other party whispering, and the vice president was sure that he knew Yi Ding Dong's identity, they could not play any tricks, so he nodded and said, "Take them away. Next time, if you want to arrest someone, you have to investigate clearly." The few policemen who were squatting in the corner felt as if they had been pardoned and were quickly brought out by their peers. Ding Xiaowan looked at this series of changes in astonishment and said angrily, "My friend was killed by Tang Zheng. How can you do this?" "Don't speak nonsense." The vice president berated loudly. Tang Zheng had long since known that Ding Xiaowan did not like him, so he jokingly said, "Ding Xiaowan, you keep saying that I killed someone, but do you have any evidence?" The police will find evidence." Before the deputy director came, he had already known about the case and understood that Tang Zheng was only a little suspicious, but there was no conclusive evidence to prove that he was related to the murder case. Since this matter involved the Yeff family, they did not dare to rashly make a judgment. This matter has not been investigated clearly yet. Student, since you say that it has nothing to do with you, then let's sit down and talk about it clearly. Yi Dingdang asked in a low voice. Tang Zheng, what do you think we should do? Tang Zheng muttered to himself for a moment, then said, "All right, then let's make things clear." The transcript was very simple, mainly asking about the conflict between the two sides yesterday and where Tang Zheng went last night, because Tang Zheng did not spend the night in the dormitory. "Where did you go last night?" Tang Zheng had been cultivating in the imperial city for the entire night, so it was impossible for him to tell the truth. Thus, he said, "I stayed outside for the entire night." "Where did you stay? Are there any witnesses?" "Of course not," Tang Zheng said. But before he could speak, Yi Dingdang had already spoken first. "He was with me last night. I can prove it." "What? Last night, the two of them were together. Didn't that mean that the two of them had already done that?" Everyone stared dumbfoundedly at Tang Zheng. This brat was simply too lucky. He actually spent a good night with such a beauty. Chapter 316. Tang Zheng looked at Yi Dingdang in surprise. Yi Dingdang winked at him, and Tang Zheng understood. She was helping him eliminate the suspicion, but such a sacrifice was too great. Seeing that, the deputy bureau chief heaved a sigh of relief. Since there was a member of the Yeff family as a witness, then it would be much easier to handle. The deputy bureau chief gave his subordinates a look, and the policemen all retreated. "Student Tang Zheng, I am truly sorry about this matter. It was our lack of consideration that caused you trouble. Please forgive us." The deputy bureau chief said sincerely, but did not mention the matter of attacking the police. Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang looked at each other. Since the other party wanted to keep the peace, then they would give the other party a way out. "All right, then I won't pursue this matter. However, I hope that you won't listen to one side of the story in the future. Otherwise, you will kill someone," Tang Zheng said in a deep voice. The deputy bureau chief smiled embarrassedly. "Yes, Thank you for your reminder, student Tang Zheng. Seeing that the other party had easily resolved this crisis, Ding Xiaowan said angrily, How can you be like this? Did my friend die for nothing? The deputy bureau chief's face darkened as he said, We will investigate this matter. We don't need you to tell us what to do. Then, he quickly went downstairs. The vice principal also heaved a sigh of relief and comforted him with a few words. Then, he went downstairs to explain to the surrounding students that this was all a misunderstanding. Only Ding Xiaowan's eyes were red, and she was about to cry. Tang Zheng, I don't know what method you used, but my friend is dead. I will definitely not let the murderer get away scot-free. In the past, Tang Zheng did not have much of a good or bad impression of Ding Xiaowan, but this time she firmly believed that he was the murderer, which made him very indignant. He snorted coldly and did not comment. The few of them walked out of the classroom, leaving Ding Xiaowan standing there alone in a daze. After the few of them left the teaching building, Sinosaurus finally could not hold it in and said indignantly, This matter is too dangerous. How can you accuse me like this? Wang Shiji said with lingering fear, It's fine as long as third brother is fine. Zhou Yin looked at Yi Dingdang thoughtfully. Sinosaurus and Wang Shiji did not realize that the situation had taken a turn for the worse after Yi Dingdang had arrived. However, the meticulous Zhou Yin had discovered this clue, which meant that Yi Dingdong's identity was not ordinary. Tang Zheng, come here. I have something to ask you, Yi Dingdang said. Hee, you guys take your time chatting. We'll be leaving first. Sinosaurus and the other two waved their hands and quickly left. Yi Dingdang asked in a deep voice, You just said that Yi Meiyu came to look for you yesterday. Yes. What is she doing? She asked me to leave you and be with her. What? Despicable and shameless? You actually dare to poach my woman? Don't believe her words. This person is too despicable. Tang Zheng smiled faintly. I have nothing to do with her. All right. Can you help me investigate what happened to the two people who died? Tang Zheng felt that there was something fishy going on with the two of them, dying all of a sudden and implicating him. Yi Dingdong's eyes lit up. What do you suspect? Tang Zheng shook his head. He could not tell the reason. Wait a moment. I'll call and check right away. After a while, Yi Dingdang said in disbelief, The situation of the two deceased is very strange. All the blood in their bodies has disappeared. What? Tang Zheng's pupils constricted. This is very strange. It said that their blood seemed to have been sucked dry by something. Yi Dingdang asked suspiciously, How could such a thing happen? Tang Zheng muttered to himself. There was nothing impossible about this kind of thing. He had seen a cultivation technique from the Jade Tablet, which was to absorb blood to increase one's cultivation. This was the cultivation technique of the Demon Clan. It was extremely vicious, meaning that this was done by the Demon Clan, and the only Demon Clan that Tang Zheng knew of in the capital was the Demon God, who was currently parasitizing Takashi's body. Yesterday, the Demon God was with Meng Yao and Shan Cohen. Could it be that this was done by the Demon God? Tang Zheng pondered. Tang Zheng, what are you thinking about? Yi Dingdang looked at him in surprise and asked. Nothing. You can go back to class. Is it really nothing? It's really nothing. I still have some matters to attend to, so I'll be leaving first. Be careful during this period of time. Don't worry. I'm so powerful. Who would dare to cause trouble for me? Yi Dingdang said confidently. Tang Zheng laughed, but did not comment, and quickly disappeared. He wanted to find the Demon God, and this matter had to be investigated thoroughly. If the Demon God wanted to recover his strength, he would definitely absorb human blood, so there would still be people dying. He had to be stopped. Tang Zheng searched the campus for a long time before he found traces of the Demon God, but beside him was actually Ding Xiaowan. Ding Xiaowan was crying nonstop in his embrace, and said bitterly, Tang Zheng is not human. He actually killed the two of them. Who exactly is Tang Zheng? Is he very powerful? The Demon God asked. He's a homicidal maniac. He killed many terrorists during the last military training. Terrorist? A cold light flashed through the Demon God's eyes. Don't you remember? Ding Xiaowan looked at him curiously. The Demon God smiled embarrassedly and said, Of course I remember. His heart skipped a beat. Since this person was so powerful, then it was very likely that he was a martial artist. All martial artists deserve to die, and since I need human blood to recover my strength, then I'll start with him first. Shen Kuan and Meng Yao were indeed killed by the demon god. Ding Xiaowan was lying in the arms of the murderer, but he was completely unaware of it. The demon god looked at Ding Xiaowan, who was in his embrace, and thought, "Last night, I absorbed human blood, and my power has recovered quite a bit. Today I will suck this girl's blood dry, and then go find that Tang Zhong. My power will definitely increase greatly, and then I will kill all these damn martial artists in the capital one by one." As night fell, the demon god and Ding Xiaowan did not return to their dormitory, but instead walked out of the school. Tang Zhong followed the two of them from afar, thinking to himself, could it be that the demon god's target this time was Ding Xiaowan? Takashi, where are we going? Ding Xiaowan asked curiously. I'm not in a good mood. I'll take you to a place. The night scenery there is very beautiful. Once you see it, your mood will definitely be much better. The demon god said. Ding Xiaowan's heart warmed as she subconsciously held onto the demon god's hand. Her heart was beating wildly like a little deer as she said sweetly, "Thank you, Deji." The demon god smiled but did not say anything. After a while, the two of them arrived at a remote alley. Ding Xiaowan looked around and asked, "What kind of beautiful scenery is this?" "You'll know when you get there." The demon god pretended to be mysterious. Ding Xiaowan's heart was filled with anticipation, but he did not notice the ferocity in the demon god's eyes. Suddenly, he stopped in his tracks. Ding Xiaowan asked blankly, "Have we arrived?" "We're here." The demon god turned around and stared straight at Ding Xiaowan. Ding Xiaowan shyly lowered her head and said, "Don't look at me like that." "Hey, if I don't look at you like this, how can I look at you? I'll be embarrassed." Ding Xiaowan was a girl who had just experienced her first awakening of love. She already had a good impression of Takashi, and in such an ambiguous environment, she was looking forward to it but was also at a loss. The demon god laughed coldly. He bent down and attacked her neck. When his lips touched Ding Xiaowan's skin, she shivered and said, "Daji, don't be like this. We are progressing too quickly." Her heart was about to jump out of her throat. She was both looking forward to it and a little afraid. However, the god fiend did not care at all. He opened his teeth and bit down. "Ah!" Ding Xiaowan screamed in pain, his eyes wide open, and shouted, "Daji, what are you doing? You bit me, it hurts." The demonic god turned a deaf ear to her words and began to circulate his heart sutra. A large amount of blood was drawn out of her body. She finally realized the danger she was in. She pushed the demonic god with both hands, but she could not move him at all. "What are you doing?" Takashi, stop." Ding Xiaowan felt her entire body turn cold. She had already discovered the red light in the demonic god's eyes and turned pale with fright. "You are not Takashi. Who are you? Quickly stop." Hee. Haven't you always been worried about your friends? I'll let you accompany them." The demon god sneered. Ding Xiaowan felt as if he had fallen into an ice cave. The cold air rushed from the soles of his feet to the top of his head, and he shouted in fear. "You killed Meng Yao and Shen Kuan? Why did you kill them?" "Ha! It's such a pity to waste such delicious blood. You should feel proud, because in the future, the Demon Clan will have a part to play in taking over this world." Demon Clan? Ding Xiaowan was shocked, but her consciousness was already blurry, and her round eyes slowly closed. Suddenly, a figure appeared in her pupils, and this figure quickly expanded, arriving in front of her in an instant. This was the last impression in her mind, and then she completely fell unconscious. Whiz! A piercing sound came from afar, and in the blink of an eye, it arrived in front of the demon god. A pitch-black sword light merged with the night sky and slashed towards the demon god. The demon god quickly let go of Ding Xiaowan, turned around, and waved his hand. Clang! Sparks flew everywhere, but he took half a step back. The figure retreated 3 steps back and looked at the demon god from afar. "It's you." The demon god recognized the other party at a glance. Wasn't this the guy who ruined his plans in the valley? There's a path to heaven, but you don't want to walk it. There's no door to hell, but you want to barge in. I've been looking for you all this time. Today is the day you die. The demon god hated this person to the bone. If it wasn't for him, his body wouldn't have been destroyed, and he wouldn't have ended up in such a state. This person was obviously Tang Zheng, but he had already used an illusion technique to change his appearance into the appearance he had when he was in the valley, so the demon god recognized him with a single glance. Seeing that Ding Xiaowan was about to be sucked dry of blood and die, he could not help but make a move. Although Ding Xiaowan had wronged him, he did not deserve to die. However, his elusive sword attack was actually blocked by the demon god. It seemed that the demon god had indeed recovered quite a bit of his strength. Demon god, instead of hiding obediently, you came out to harm others. I think you're courting death. Aren't you afraid of attracting the attention of the people from the martial sect by acting so recklessly? At that time, countless martial experts will chase after you, and you'll have nowhere to go. Martial sect? What's that? The demon god said in disdain. Tang Zheng suddenly realized that the martial sect was definitely an organization formed after the cultivators were expelled, so the demon god did not know about it, and even more so, did not know that the martial sect was constantly hunting cultivators. Otherwise, he would not have acted so crazily. This was simply a signal to the martial sect, attracting them to the capital. Tang Zheng did not want the people from a martial sect to come to the capital, as that would put him in danger. Haha, if I absorb all of your blood, I will definitely be able to recover a portion of my strength. Kid, hand over your life. Whoosh! A ray of blood light pierced through the withered blood. It was the weapon that was forced back by the War Soul Sword. I'll let you have a taste of the power of my blood blade. Your yellow rank magic treasure is simply unable to withstand a single blow from my blood blade. Blood blade? Tang Zheng's head moved. He had already seen clearly that this was an Earth rank magic treasure, which was 2 levels higher than his War Soul Sword. This was the first time Tang Zheng had seen an Earth rank magic treasure, so he could completely guess how powerful it was. This blood blade was only 3 inches long, like a dagger, but its entire body was suffused with a bloody light, which was incomparably strange. Whiz! Suddenly, the blood blade cut through the night sky and attacked Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng immediately used his sword to block. He had already completely comprehended the first and second moves of the Flying Immortals beyond Heaven Sword technique, and used them smoothly like flowing water. Rays of sword light flew around his body, like a sturdy fortress, causing the blood blade to have no place to attack. It's a pity that you haven't completely learned the Flying Immortals beyond Heaven Sword technique. You only know these 2 moves. If I want to kill you, it will be as easy as flipping my hand. The demon god roared and stepped forward, grabbing the blood blade. Suddenly, the blood blade shone with a red light, and the demon god stabbed forward. Puff! The air was sliced apart, and even the impenetrable sword-light fortress around Tang Zheng was instantly pierced through, and the blood blade directly slashed towards his neck. Tang Zheng did not panic in the slightest. Seeing the blood blade in front of him, he retreated backwards while waving his hand. The dragon-trapped rope flew out from the Sumeru bag, and like a nimble, poisonous snake, it quickly coiled around the demon god's body. Dragon-trapped rope? You want to trap me with just this? The demon god said in disdain. Tang Zheng sneered. Of course, I don't expect the dragon-trapped rope to be able to bind you. I still have a backup plan. Tang Zheng quickly retreated, increasing the distance between them. The dragon-trapped rope finally played its role, instantly binding the demon god like a dumpling, stopping his fierce attacks. The blood blade in the demon god's hand slashed backwards, leaving a deep mark on the dragon-trapped rope. It seemed that with another slash, the dragon-trapped rope would break. Tang Zheng could not care less about the dragon-trapped rope, because he already had the heaven-shocking bow in his hands, which was the ultimate killing weapon. Wong! The bowstring vibrated, The demon god was extremely familiar with this sound. His divine soul had been directly shattered by the heaven-shocking bow. An invisible arrow shot towards the demon god, who anxiously waved his blood blade forward. Bang! The bloodlight on the surface of the blood blade jumped a few times, and finally blocked the heaven-shocking bow. Brat, what kind of divine bow is this? The demon god was rather fearful of the heaven-shocking bow. After tasting the heaven-shocking bow once again, he was both shocked and angry. With the heaven-shocking bow in hand, it was impossible for him to truly kill Tang Zheng in his current state. He was not sure about this before, but after taking the attack just now, he understood this point. He was angry and unresigned. You don't have the qualifications to know its name. Tang Zheng snorted and pulled the bowstring again. Wong, another arrow flew over. Bang! The blood blade blocked the attack once again, but it was not over yet. Tang Zheng quickly pulled the bowstring and shot out 3 arrows in succession. 3 sharp auras formed a triangle shape and arrived in front of the demon god in the blink of an eye. At the same time, the dragon-trapped rope shrunk violently, causing the demon god to frown. With a groan, the blood blade slashed at the dragon-trapped rope again. Crack! The dragon-trapped rope broke into 2 and quickly fell from his body. Tang Zheng was furious. His heart ached. The dragon-trapped rope was actually destroyed just like that. The demon god regained his freedom. His blood blade danced in the air, and with a bang, he blocked the 3 invisible arrows one after another. However, every time he blocked an arrow, he retreated 3 steps, and in the end, he actually retreated 9 steps, showing the power of the 3 arrows. Just at this time, Tang Zheng once again pulled the bowstring. The demon god's face turned ashen as he pondered. This brat's divine bow is too powerful. Unless I completely recover my strength, it will not be easy to kill him. Damn it! How could he have such a divine bow? Seeing Tang Zheng pulling the bowstring again, the demon god quickly retreated and shouted, Brat, I will come and find you again. Not long from now, it will be the time of your death. Tang Zheng knew in his heart that the other party was definitely going to escape, but he had no way of stopping them. Although the heaven-shocking bow's power was extraordinary, every time he pulled the bowstring, a portion of his power would be quickly consumed. These few arrows had already consumed half of his power. If the demon god continued to persevere, then in the end, Tang Zheng would be in danger. However, the demon god obviously did not know about this, and when he saw the power of the heaven-shocking bow again, he was prepared to escape. Didn't you say that you wanted to kill me? Why do you only know how to run away now? Tang Zheng mocked in an imposing manner. Brat, don't be arrogant. When my power fully recovers, it will be the time of your death. The air around the demon god trembled, the blood mist churned, and in an instant, it blocked his figure. Tang Zheng could not even aim at him anymore. He only heard the sound of a strong wind blowing backwards. He knew that the demon god must have escaped. Tang Zheng heaved a sigh of relief and immediately picked up the dragon-trapped rope. He did not know if it could be repaired in the future, but his gaze landed on Ding Xiaowan, who was unconscious in the corner. Ding Xiaowan was not dead. She was only unconscious. However, she had lost a lot of blood, so she would not be able to wake up for a while. Tang Zheng did not leave her here alone. Instead, he brought her to the nearest hospital and placed her at the door. Then, he hid far away and only left when the doctor discovered her and brought her into the hospital. At this moment, his mood was not stable. These 2 consecutive murders would most likely attract the attention of the martial sect. At that time, the situation in the capital would become more and more complicated. His expectations were not wrong. The strange murder case in the capital had indeed aroused the suspicions of some people, but it was not without a trace. It was the Li Palace that had the richest information in the world. When the sun rose, the holy maiden of Li Palace, Li Xiaotian, had information related to the murder case placed in front of her. She frowned as she stared at the information and muttered to herself, "The blood has been sucked dry. This is definitely not something that an ordinary person can do. Could it be that this is what cultivators call? The martial sect will definitely be interested in this information. Holy Maiden, someone from the martial sect has come a visit. Suddenly, a woman walked in and reported, "Speak of the devil, and the devil is here." I wonder what the martial sect wants to do. Who do they send over? Martial. Oh, martial arts? This martial arts genius? The corner of Li Xiaoyan's mouth hooked up, revealing a meaningful smile. Ask Our Mistress often says that Wu is a martial arts genius that only appears once in 100 years. His talent is even above mine, and I have never had the chance to meet him. This time, I want to take a good look at how powerful he is. Li Xiaoyan had not even taken a few steps when another woman quickly walked over and said respectfully, "Holy Maiden, the capital's Yin family, Yin Qingyi, has come to visit." Li Xiaoyan was startled for a moment, then said, "Yin Qingyi? That legendary woman who is said to be extremely intelligent? How interesting. Today, everyone is gathered together. A martial arts genius, a smart woman. It seems to be getting more and more exciting. Bring them to the living room. I want to see the two of them at the same time." Li Xiaoyan instructed, then walked towards the living room. Asgard Mistress is in closed-door cultivation, and I am in charge of the Li Palace, making it so that I can't even find Tang Zheng to ask for the heaven-shocking bow. It's really infuriating. Staying in the Li Palace all day is so boring that I'm going to get sick. Fortunately, these two people came to relieve my boredom. I hope that things can become a little more exciting. Li Xiaoyan walked with small steps to the living room, only to see Wu and Yin Qingyi sitting on their respective chairs, Wu closing his eyes to rest, while Yin Qingyi looked at each other thoughtfully. Suddenly, Marshall opened his eyes and looked in the direction of Li Xiaoyan. Chapter 3:18. Yin Qingyi also raised her head to look. The eyes of the three women flashed with a bright light, because they were all too beautiful, adding a touch of brilliance to the room. "What brings the two of you to the Li Palace?" Li Xiaoyan did not stand on ceremony with the other party, sitting in the main seat, and asked straightforwardly. Yin Qingyi and Marshall looked at each other at the same time. Yin Qingyi gestured with her hand. "You first." She did not know the identity of the other party, but it was clear that they were not ordinary people. Marshall also did not stand on ceremony, and asked, "Does your Li Palace know what happened in the valley to the west?" Li Xiaoyan faintly smiled. The other party actually came for that matter, so he nodded. "Of course we know. Such a big matter. How come Li Palace not know about it?" "It's good that you know. Then do you know the whereabouts of the demon god?" Marshall said that the Li Palace was indeed worthy of its reputation. In this world, there were very few people who knew about the valley, but he did not expect the Li Palace to also know about it. Li Xiaoyan raised his eyebrows, subconsciously thinking about the murder case he saw just now. Could it be that it was done by the demon god? There are a few clues. There are clues. Marshall was shocked. She did not expect the other party to have clues. The martial sect had sent people to investigate for so long, but to no avail. The Li Palace's ability to gather information was indeed unparalleled in the world. "Naturally, you came for this matter?" Li Xiaoyan asked. Marshall nodded, and said with a murderous look, "I need to know the whereabouts of the demon god. This kind of cultivator must be eliminated." Cultivator? Yin Qingyi's heart skipped a beat. Although she was not a warrior, she knew a lot about the world, especially about cultivators. It was just that she had never seen them before, so she couldn't help but be curious. Li Xiaoyan smiled and said, "If you want to know information, then you must exchange information of equal value. This is the rule of the Li Palace." Marshall was already prepared. Like magic, an envelope appeared in her hand, and with a casual throw, the envelope flew like a hidden weapon towards Li Xiaoyan. Li Xiaoyan stretched out his hand to take the letter, opened it, and took a look, then said, "I didn't expect your martial organization to have such information." Obviously, Li Xiaoyan was very satisfied with this information. In truth, the Li Palace had many methods to gather information, But one of the most praiseworthy methods was that it did not sell information, but rather exchanged information for equal value. Thus, the Li Palace was able to gather more and more information. Can you tell me now? Of course. Wait a moment, I'll send someone to get it. Li Xiaotian gestured to one of his subordinates, who immediately turned and left. Li Xiaotian's gaze then turned to Yin Qingyi and said, Yin Qingyi, what business does the Yin family have with you? Yin Qingyi nodded in greeting to Li Xiaotian and said neither too quickly nor too slowly, My father asked me to send his regards to the palace master. Li Xiaotian nodded his head lightly. Thank you. Yin family patriarch, Asgard master is currently in closed-door cultivation. I appreciate your kindness. This is the main reason why I'm here. Who exactly is the mysterious expert that appeared at my father's birthday banquet? Yin Qingyi asked. Li Xiaotian's brows immediately furrowed. Yin Qingyi and Wu both felt surprised at the same time. Judging from Li Xiaotian's expression, it seemed that the Li Palace was also rather puzzled about this matter. Wu could not help but be curious. When she heard that the other party's surname was Yin, she had already guessed that she was a member of the Yin family in the capital. Someone who could make the Yin family so confused and valued was definitely not an ordinary person. Wu's curiosity was piqued, and he really wanted to know what was going on. That person seemed to have appeared out of thin air. There has never been any information about him before, Li Xiaotian said in a deep voice. This was also a big problem that had been troubling the Li Palace recently. A mysterious expert that had never appeared before had actually caused a ruckus at Yin Potion's birthday banquet. There were no clues as to who this person was. Oh no, there was one clue, and that was that this person was Tang Zheng's master. Li Xiaotian thought about the process of getting to know Tang Zheng and Tang Zheng's little-known identity as a cultivator, and his heart skipped a beat. Since this person was Tang Zheng's master, then he must be a cultivator. Li Xiaotian subconsciously glanced at Wu Zhong. The martial sect had always been hunting cultivators. If he told her about Tang Zheng's identity, would she immediately chase after Tang Zheng? No, Tang Zheng's identity cannot be exposed for the time being. This person has many secrets on him, and the key is that the heaven-shocking bow must have been hidden by him. Although I don't know how he hid it back then, but he must have brought it out of the prehistoric heavenly tomb. I must find him and take back the heaven-shocking bow. To dare snatch the treasure from the hands of my Li Palace's holy maiden, I will definitely not let you off so easily. Then does the Li Palace know anything about Tang Zheng? After all, he is Tang Zheng's master. Yin Qingyi took a step back and prepared to break through from Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng? Wu suddenly frowned and asked in surprise. Yeah, you know Tang Zheng too? Yin Qingyi was shocked. Wu asked, Is the Tang Zheng you're talking about a student of Yinqing University? Yin Qingyi was even more surprised and nodded. He is indeed a new student of Yinqing University. You said he's a warrior. And he even has a very powerful and mysterious master? Back then, during the military training, Tang Zheng had always concealed his identity as a cultivator and a martial artist. Even if he killed someone, he did not reveal his identity, which meant that he had escaped Wu's fiery eyes. Actually, she had once suspected Tang Zheng's skills, but the other party did not have the slightest bit of inner strength fluctuations, which was why she had dispelled this guess. She didn't expect that she had really misjudged him. The other party was actually a hidden expert, which made her very angry. Yin Qingyi confirmed, Tang Zheng is indeed a martial artist, at least in the post-celestial stage, and his master is an expert in the Grandmaster stage. Wu exclaimed, Grandmaster stage? In this world, the Grandmaster stage was already a top expert. This was a mysterious expert that had never been heard of before. Even Wu, who had always been interested in cultivators, couldn't help but be curious. Does your Li Palace really not know about Tang Zheng and his master? Wu went straight to the point and asked. Yin Qingyi was greatly astonished, not knowing why the other party was so interested in Tang Zheng. She thought that this young man was not simple to actually be able to stir up the nerves of so many large powers. Li Xiaotian thought to himself, Of course I know some information about them, but I don't plan on telling you. Their cultivator identities are only known to me in the entire Li Palace, so how could I easily tell you? I really don't know. Yin Qingyi and Wu were greatly disappointed. Humph. No matter what his background is, if he dares to deceive me, I will definitely find him and investigate him thoroughly. Wu said resolutely. Yin Qingyi muttered. Tang Zheng is the future son-in-law of the Ye family. If you touch him, be careful of the Ye family's counterattack. Wu disdainfully said, Ye family? If you want to go against the martial organization, you are courting death. You are from the martial organization? Yin Qingyi raised her eyebrows, finally a little surprised. The other party was actually a famous martial organization. Just what kind of background did this Tang Zheng have to actually be related to the martial organization? Even though Yin Qingyi was extremely intelligent, she was still unable to guess the whole story. Wu Sheng arrogantly glanced at Yin Qingyi, his brows revealing a sense of pride. Seeing that Wu was so interested in Tang Zheng, Li Xiaotian had an idea and said, Wu, the person you're looking for is most likely in the capital, and Tang Zheng is also in the capital. You can go find him while you are at it. You said the demon god is in the capital? Wu asked in astonishment. At this time, a woman walked in with a document bag in her hand. Li Xiaotian indicated for her to hand it over to Wu and said, the specific information is inside. You will know once you take a look. Wu frowned and said, this is indeed the method of a cultivator, especially the demon clan. It seems that the demon god who escaped is really in the capital. Then I must go and kill him this time. Li Xiaotian smiled and said, then I wish you victory, but I must remind you that when the demon god descended, you were unable to stop him, and I'm afraid you might not be able to succeed now. Wu coldly snorted and said, then you just wait and see. With that, he stood up and bid farewell, quickly leaving the Li Palace. Yin Qingyi looked at Wu's disappearing figure, her mood fluctuating. Although she did not obtain any information about the mysterious expert during this trip to the Li Palace, she accidentally found out about other things. The demon clan has actually come to this world. We must go back and tell father as soon as possible. Seeing that Yin Qingyi was in a daze, Li Xiaotian asked, I wonder if you have anything else to say? Yin Qingyi also stood up and said, thank you, holy maiden. I have nothing else to do, so I will take my leave first. Li Xiaotian nodded her head. Seeing that Yin Qingyi had left, she could not help but mutter to herself. The capital has always been the place where all the powers converge, and this time, the demon clan, the martial sect, and the mysterious cultivator Tang Zheng will all gather here at the same time. It will definitely be very exciting. How could I miss such a good show? Furthermore, I've already lured Wu to Tang Zheng. I wonder how Tang Zheng will deal with it. Can I fish in troubled waters and find the whereabouts of the heaven-shocking bow? The information I found about the heaven-shocking bow by chance only said that it was a divine bow with extraordinary power, but I don't know what kind of magical effects it has. If I can take back this divine bow and study it carefully, my fighting strength can also increase by leaps and bounds. Right, we absolutely cannot let go of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Man, Li Xiaotian shouted in a deep voice. Holy Maiden, what orders do you have? I will be leaving for a period of time. All of you must properly take care of the matters of the Li Palace. If there is anything important, you must inform me immediately. Li Xiaotian instructed. His subordinate turned pale with fright and advised. Holy Maiden, before Asgard Mistress went into seclusion, she told you that you must stay in the palace to take care of matters and cannot leave. Li Xiaotian's face darkened and said, I am the Holy Maiden. Don't tell me you want to stop me. This subordinate does not dare. If you don't dare, then listen obediently. I have an important matter to attend to this time. If anyone dares to secretly tell Asgard Mistress, I will definitely not forgive her. Li Xiaotian said sternly with a murderous aura. Yes, Holy Maiden, this subordinate does not dare. The corner of Li Xiaotian's mouth hooked up into a smile, and he quickly left the Li Palace. Target, Beijing. Chapter 319. As Tang Zheng walked around the campus, from time to time, there would be people pointing at him. After all, the confrontation with the police had caused quite a stir. Tang Zheng acted as if he did not see it. His focus was on the demon god. Although the demon god had escaped last night, would he still return to school? In addition, Ding Xiaoan was already out of danger, but she was still unconscious. This matter did not cause a huge uproar under the deliberate concealment of the school. However, the number of security guard patrolling the campus had obviously increased by quite a bit. OL3, don't frown. We're going to participate in the club recruitment. I heard that every time the club recruits, there are quite a few beautiful girls. Sinosaurus said with a wink. Second bro, you have a lot of tricks up your sleeves. Don't you already have Lu Xian? Zhou Yin joked. Lu Xian was the result of his friendship with Yi Dingdang in the dormitory. Dou Long took a fancy to Lu Xian and chatted happily with her. During the National Day, he even took her to see a movie. Dou Long chuckled. Didn't I just come into contact with her? We haven't even started yet. Furthermore, don't you see that OL Sin already has Yi Dingdang? That day, he even sat on that beautiful woman's sports car. Zhou Yin laughed out loud. Second bro, don't even think about competing with third bro. Am I as romantic and elegant as third bro? I think I'm more handsome than OL3. I shouldn't be able to compare to him. Sinosaurus boasted shamelessly. Tang Zheng waved his hand and said, Hey, you guys, don't mix me in. I'm a very pure person. The three of them revealed looks of disdain at the same time. Wang Shiji said, OL3, I think you are the most romantic in our dorm. Last time, we heard from Feng Yong that you have a girlfriend? Tang Zheng laughed embarrassedly. What do you mean by another girlfriend? I only have one in the first place. TSK OL3. Look, even boss can't stand it anymore. With a great beauty like Yi Dingdang, you actually have a foot in two boats. Zhou Yin said, What do you mean by unkind? This is the role model that we should learn from. Third brother, I support you. No man is a man without romance. Sinosaurus shook his head and said. Wang Shiji chuckled. Lao San, Lu Xian is coming over. Can you repeat what you just said in front of her? Sinosaurus exclaimed and immediately turned around. Sure enough, the four girls from Yi Dingdong's dormitory were slowly walking over. Don't talk nonsense and ruin my image, Sinosaurus said seriously. Ha! Tang Zheng and the other two couldn't help but burst into laughter. Yo, what made you laugh so happily? Li Fangfei smiled at Zhou Yin and asked curiously. Yeah, let's share it. It's better to share it with everyone than to share it alone. Hao Dan said as he rolled his big eyes. Tang Zheng glanced at Hao Dan. This girl was indeed very cute. No wonder Feng Yong was so infatuated with her. Feng Yong had brought her around the entire capital in the past few days, and Feng Yong had vowed that he would take her down soon. As for Li Fangfei and Zhou Yin, it seemed that both sides were maintaining a lukewarm state. Li Fangfei had some intentions of taking the initiative, but Zhou Yin had been trying his best to keep his distance. Li Fangfei has good eyes to actually take a fancy to OL4. This old Four's family is definitely not as simple as it seems on the surface. If Li Fangfei really takes OL4 down, it will definitely be a profitable investment. Tang Zheng said, Nothing special, just a joke. All right, what club do you want to join? Sinosaurus changed the topic without leaving a trace. Let's take a look first. Let's see if there's anything interesting. There were really a lot of clubs in the university, and this small field was filled with advertisements for recruitment, causing people to be dazzled. The various clubs had even taken out their special skills and kept handing out flyers, and there were even people shouting loudly, as if it was a lively market. All right, I remember that you guys are all outstanding people in the military training, so your physical fitness must be very good. Isn't there a martial arts club over there? Aren't you guys going to participate? Lu Xian pointed at a billboard and said. On the billboard, there were two people fighting. Their movements were extremely dazzling, and the words Bushido Club were impressively written in front of them. There's actually a martial arts club. Not bad, not bad. Sinosaurus was very interested. Let's go take a look and see if there's any real martial arts. Several people walked over and found that there were already a lot of people in front of the club. Many people were filling in the registration information, both men and women. They only heard a few girls chattering. The Bushido Club is very powerful. A few years ago, wasn't there an ancient martial arts club? They were all defeated by this Bushido Club, and finally were forced to disband and disappear. Yes, that ancient martial arts club is just a show, just like the martial arts shown on TV. It's all fake. The people like to brag. This Bushido is the real thing. It is said that the club's president is the direct disciple of a Bushido master from the island nation and will personally teach judo, karate, kendo, aikido, these real martial arts. Wow. Then if I join the club, won't I be a master in the future? Quickly fill in the form to sign up. Hearing these discussions, Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang frowned at the same time. The dignified Chinese martial arts were actually called flowery and impractical by these people, while the island nation Japanese martial arts were praised so highly. Tang Zheng couldn't help but remember the group of Japanese he met in the 10,000 mountains. They traveled thousands of miles just to snatch the Beast King's blood essence. And at the same time, their so-called Bushido was actually so popular in the university campus, which made Tang Zheng very angry. Is this Bushido really that powerful? How Dan curiously stretched her neck, only to see that there was a specially erected screen in the recruitment area. On it was the scene of Bushido fighting with people. It was indeed very dazzling, but in front of experts like Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang, it was clumsy and laughable. If it's really that powerful, then shouldn't we go and learn some self-defense techniques as well? Li Fangfei said. Sinosaurus curled his lips and said indignantly, "What's so good about the Japanese's Bushido? We won't participate in such a liar." Zhou Yin nodded his head and said, "Our country's martial arts are definitely not flowery and impractical. It's just that there is too little publicity. Furthermore, many of our countrymen think that the moon of a foreign country is round and wantonly belittle their own country's martial arts. Isn't this just worshipping foreign things?" Wang Shiji said. Hearing this, the few students in front all turned their heads and angrily rebuked, "If you don't understand, then don't speak nonsense. You only know how to show off your mouth." "What did you say?" Sinosaurus flew into a rage. "Worshipping foreign things is talking about you people. What's so great about this Japanese Bushido? If you have the guts, then come out and fight me one-on-one. Let's see whose fist is harder." "Are you looking down on our Bushido? So you want to challenge us?" An angry voice sounded. The crowd parted and a person walked out. This person was very young and could not hide the pride between his eyebrows. "Wow, this is President Jiang Chuan. He actually came this time. Wow, he's really handsome and stylish." A girl exclaimed like a love-struck fool. Jiang Chuan Yuanya. Last year, he was the one who defeated the ancient martial arts society and forced them to disband the society. Wow, so powerful. It must be super safe to have a boyfriend like this. Hey, are you still Huaxia people? So worshipping foreign things. Sinosaurus roared with righteous indignation. The girls rolled their eyes and snorted. "Idiot! Let's see how he jumps after being beaten into a pig's head by President Jiang Chuan." Jiang Chuan Yunya walked straight in front of them and looked at Sinosaurus arrogantly, saying, "Do you want to challenge our Bushido society?" "So what if it's a challenge? I'm going to beat you into a pig's head and send you back to your hometown." Sinosaurus raised his head and said, "Hee, you overestimate yourself. In that case, I'll let you see the true power of the Bushido society. It'll also be a free advertisement for our society." Jiang Chuan Yuanya said contemptuously. A few people immediately stood up behind him and said aggressively, "President, leave this person to us. How dare he insult the Bushido society? I'll beat him until he's looking for his teeth on the ground." "Okay, you've been studying in the society for more than a year. It's time to test the results of your studies." Jiang Chuan Yuanya nodded and said with relief, "These people aren't Japanese?" Tang Zheng said in a low voice. Yi Dingdang shook her head. "No, they look like senior students from Huaxia." This Jiang Chuan Yuanya seems to be an international student from an island nation. An international student dares to be so arrogant in our country. Does he really think that there's no one in the great Huaxia? Tang Zheng said angrily. Who says so? It's just that there are really too few martial artists among the ordinary people now. Island Nation promotes Bushido. Bushido has a high status in their country, unlike our country's awkward situation. Yi Dingdang was born in a martial arts family and knew a thing or two. Tang Zheng snorted coldly in dissatisfaction. This was all because of the country's strategic failure. Sinosaurus, don't try to be brave. They really seem to know martial arts. Lu Xian advised worriedly. When Sinosaurus heard this, it was even more impossible to retreat. Instead, he stepped forward and said, "Don't worry. Today, I'm going to teach this group of people who worship foreign things a lesson." Zhou glanced at Tang Zheng and said, "Lao San, Lao Air, is this okay?" "Don't worry, Lao Air is strong and strong. Besides, during military training, Lao San's military boxing is also good. These people may not be able to hurt him," Tang Zheng said. Zhou breathed a sigh of relief. He had already known that Tang Zheng's skills were not simple. With him holding the fort, at least Sinosaurus would not be at a disadvantage. Now, the mentality of the people really needs a wake-up call. Lao Air can be considered to have helped everyone vent their anger this time. Wang Shiji said, They think that there's no one in Huaxia? How dare they be clowns? Today, I want to see how these clowns are going to jump around." Tang Zheng muttered to himself in disdain. Yi Dingdang glanced at him and understood that today's recruitment of new members would probably be beyond the expectations of many people. After hearing that someone had challenged the Bushido Society, a lot of people gathered in a short while discussing and watching the show. Chapter 320. Kid, don't say we're bullying you. Let's fight one-on-one. Let's fight one-on-one. A member of the Bushido Society said arrogantly. Sinosaurus snorted and said, "Let's fight. Why do you have so much nonsense to say?" Then, he threw a punch at the opponent. This was the simplest move in military boxing, but it was very pure without any fancy moves. Although Sinosaurus was not a martial artist, his physical fitness was very good. His punch was not weak. The opponent twisted his neck and dodged the punch. Then he punched Sinosaurus in the stomach. Sinosaurus could not dodge in time and took the punch. He groaned but did not retreat. Instead, a strange smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He hugged the opponent's waist and used his strength. With a whoosh, the opponent flew out and hit the TV screen. With a crash, a big hole was smashed in the screen. Suddenly, there were exclamations everywhere. Many people looked at Sinosaurus in disbelief. This kid was tall and strong. He was indeed powerful. "Second brother, you're amazing." Sinosaurus gave Sinosaurus a thumbs up. Sinosaurus smiled proudly and glanced at Lu Xian as if he was showing off. Lu Xian had been nervously clenching her fists. Now, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. Seeing Sinosaurus looking at her, she could not help but blush. "Don't brag here if you lose." "What Bushido? It's all bullshit," Sinosaurus spat and said disdainfully. Jiangchuan Yuanya's face instantly darkened. He looked at the member who fell and strode towards Sinosaurus and said, "If that's the case, then compete with me." Before he finished speaking, Jiangchuan Yuanya rushed towards Sinosaurus. Sinosaurus hurriedly threw a punch. Their fists collided. Sinosaurus quickly retreated, but Jiangchuan Yuanya was faster. He flew up like a shadow and kicked Sinosaurus in the chest. Bang! With a muffled sound, Sinosaurus was sent flying as if he had been hit by a heavy hammer. Lu Xian screamed and hurriedly rushed forward to catch Sinosaurus, but Tang Zheng was faster than her and caught Sinosaurus in a flash. At this moment, Jiangchuan Yuanya chased after him like a maggot in a tarsal bone. He raised his leg and kicked straight at Tang Zheng's head. This kick was so powerful that it could break Tang Zheng's neck. "Ah!" Cries of alarm rang out from the crowd. Everyone stared at this scene with their mouths agape. Many people were so scared that they closed their eyes. The eyes of the female students who had been smitten earlier lit up as they shouted, "President Jiang Chuan, you can do it." Jiang Chuan Yuanya had no intention of showing any mercy. This person dared to provoke the Bushido Club, so he had to beat him down. He would never allow anyone to provoke him. Murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Just as he was about to kick Tang Zheng, a person appeared in front of Tang Zheng. It was a beautiful woman, Yi Dingdang. When Jiang Chuan Yuanya saw Yi Dingdang clearly, his pupils constricted. He exclaimed to himself, "A martial artist. This person is actually a martial artist." Earlier, Yi Dingdang was not very eye-catching in the crowd, so Jiang Chuan Yuanya ignored her. But at this critical moment, it was already too late for him to retreat. Instead, he added a bit more strength into his leg. Yi Dingdang's eyes seemed as though they were about to spit fire. So, she also sent out a kick. Her legs were originally long and slender, so with this kick, it was practically a split, incomparably perfect. Bang! Both of them were kicked. Yi Dingdang only took a small step back, but Jiang Chuan Yuanya actually flew backward. He staggered a few steps before stopping. Everyone's eyeballs almost fell out. This beauty was so powerful that she could take on Jiang Chuan Yuanya head-on. The smitten girl was dumbfounded. It was as if someone was strangling her. "Sinosaurus, how are you?" Lu Xian held Sinosaurus's hand and asked with concern. Sinosaurus's face was pale just now. Now that he had recovered, he took a deep breath and said, "I'm fine." "You call that fine? You flew from so far away. If Tang Zheng hadn't caught you, you would have fallen and gotten into trouble," Lu Xian complained, but the concern in her words was obvious. "He's fine. He'll be fine after some rest," Tang Zheng said in a low voice. In fact, the kick that Sinosaurus took was not simple. There was a blood clot in his chest. Fortunately, Tang Zheng discovered it in time and used his energy to dissolve it. Otherwise, Sinosaurus would definitely have an incurable illness in the long run. Tang Zheng stood up immediately and stared at Jiang Chuan Yuanya. This person was a martial artist, but he was so ruthless towards ordinary people that he caught Tang Zheng off guard. He had no time to block the blow for Sinosaurus. "Didn't you say that you looked down on Hua Xia's martial arts? Then I'll open your eyes today," Yi Dingdang said loudly. Jiang Chuan Yuanya said in a low voice, "Such petty tricks. You want to be mentioned in the same breath as my great Bushido? But you guys let a woman do it and hide behind her. You guys are really good." Jiang Chuan Yuanya could tell that Yi Dingdang was not an ordinary person. He was not completely confident in fighting with her, so he deliberately provoked her. This girl was clearly the only martial artist among these people. As long as he avoided her, the others were nothing to be afraid of. Martial arts doesn't discriminate between men and women. I think you're afraid of me, so you don't dare to fight with me. Yi Dingdang was also a smart person. She immediately saw through the other party's sinister intentions. Of course, she could take advantage of the situation and let Tang Zheng fight, but facing this hateful Jiang Chuan Yuanya, she wanted to fight herself. Tang Zheng did not take the opportunity to snatch Yi Dingdang. Instead, he quietly helped Sinosaurus up, as if he was at ease to hide behind Yi Dingdang. This made the few infatuated girls despise him. They mocked, "Yo, this kind of man is really spineless. He actually hides behind a woman. One look and you can tell he's a good-for-nothing. Yes, how can this kind of trash be compared to President Jiang Chuan? He's a disgrace to Yin University." Zhou Yin and the others were indignant. They shouted, "What nonsense are you talking about? He hiding behind a woman and still have the nerve to yell at us. I've really learned something," the infatuated girl mocked. Tang Zheng shook his head at Zhou Yin and said, "There's no need to waste your breath on people who can't distinguish right from wrong and worship foreign things. That's simply an insult to your intelligence." Seeing Tang Zheng's nonchalant look, Zhou Yang could not help but sigh. "Third brother, I just can't stand people like this." Yi Dingdang said, "I can't stand it either. Since they said this Jiang Chuan Yuanya is so powerful, then I'll defeat him and let them see what kind of person he is." "Dingdang, are you his match? Why don't we let Tang Zheng go?" Li Fangfei and the others suggested worriedly. They had never seen Yi Dingdang fight, but they had seen Tang Zhang's clean moves in the private restaurant. Yi Dingdang smirked confidently and said, "No need, just watch." She strode towards Jianchuan Yuanya. Seeing that his trick did not work and that he had to face Yi Dingdang, Jianchuan Yuanya was a little nervous. However, he quickly hid these thoughts and said with a fierce look in his eyes, "Fists and feet have no eyes. If I hurt you later, I won't be responsible. If you have the ability to hurt me, then it's my bad luck. I definitely won't find trouble with you, but I doubt if you have that ability." Yi Dingdang said disdainfully. "Similarly, if I hurt you, then you'll have to admit that you're unlucky. Okay, then let's see who's stronger. Is this woman stupid? How can she be President Jianchuan's match?" The infatuated girls began to chatter again. Yes, this kind of woman does whatever she wants just because she's pretty. I've been sick of it for a long time. President Jianchuan, don't be gentle with her. Some of the surrounding boys could not stand it anymore, especially when they saw how beautiful Yi Dingdang was. They retorted loudly, "What's the point of bullying a woman? If you have the guts, come at us." Yes, this is Huaxia. When did it become the turn of an island nation to show off here? Let's go together. I don't believe that we can't beat this *T president. The infatuated girls shouted excitedly. See, this group of people only know how to jeer. They even want to attack President Jianchuan together. How ungentlemanly. It's embarrassing to be in the same school as this kind of person. Their words undoubtedly ignited the powder keg. One of them roared, "Are you still Huaxia people? Why are you talking to an island nation person?" "We're on the side of reason, not family," the infatuated girl retorted. "Don't pay attention to this kind of woman who worships foreign things. She's simply unreasonable." Seeing that the crowd was discussing animatedly, Yi Dingdang cupped her hands towards the crowd and said heroically, "Thank you for your good intentions. An outsider dares to look down on our country. Then I will teach him a lesson today and let him know that our Huaxia is not something that a small barbarian country can provoke and insult. Today, I ask everyone to be my witness." Good. She's a real heroine. Those clowns aren't even fit to carry her shoes. When the infatuated girls heard this, their faces flushed red. They glared hatefully at Yi Dingdang, thinking that when you lose, we'll humiliate you. Hey, isn't this the girl who gave the speech during the military training? A sharp-eyed person recognized Yi Dingdang. Yes, that's her. I was wondering why she looked so familiar. I didn't recognize her without her military uniform. She's even prettier without her military uniform. She went to the army to participate in the military training. She must have learned a lot. This little Japanese guy might not be her opponent. Beauty, do your best. We support you. The crowd was excited and cheers were endless. More and more people gathered. Even the members of the other clubs who were in charge of recruiting gathered around, looking forward to this battle. Yi Dingdang and Jianchuan Yuanya stood face to face. Suddenly, Jianchuan Yuanya leaped and sent a flying kick towards Yi Dingdang. There was even the sound of air being torn apart. This move was incomparably beautiful and caused the crowd to exclaim. Yi Dingdang struck out with her palm. This palm was soft, as if it had no strength at all. Immediately, the crowd's hearts clenched. However, Yi Dingdang was full of confidence. This was because this move was from the Jade Girl Heart Sutra. The seemingly weak move suddenly became abnormally strong when it was close to the target. Chapter 321. However, ordinary people did not realize the power of this palm. Seeing that Jianchuan Yuanya's ferocious kick was about to hit Yi Dingdang's palm, many people's hearts involuntarily jumped to their throats. Everyone's gant was a patriotic pine. Bang! With a muffled sound, Yi Dingdang's arm shook, and Jianchuan Yuanya felt a piercing pain in his leg, which made his expression somewhat ferocious. However, he gritted his teeth and persevered. His other leg also kicked up. His body was in midair, and he executed a chain kick. The sky was filled with leg shadows. Yi Dingdong's palms were like the wind. Every palm seemed weak and powerless, but perfectly blocked the opponent's chain kick. This series of battles was unusually fierce. Even ordinary people could see the danger in it. However, seeing that Yi Dingdang was not at a disadvantage, everyone knew that she was also an expert. Wow, not only was she beautiful, but she was also an expert. Immediately, those who supported her seemed to have been injected with chicken blood as they cheered excitedly. Even Yi Dingdong's 3 roommates were in disbelief. They had been together for more than a month, but they did not realize that she was an expert. After a fierce battle, both of them understood that they had met a real opponent. This Jiangchuan Yuanya was not an embroidered pillow, but a real martial artist. Like Yi Dingdang, he was a first-grade acquired stage. For him to have such a cultivation at this age, it meant that the rumors were not false. He must have had the guidance of a master to have such a cultivation. But so what? Yi Dingdang was not afraid at all. Instead, her fighting spirit was high. Every move she made, her attacks became fiercer and fiercer. Her valiant and heroic posture made people's hearts surge. Many people excitedly discussed, "This is a real goddess. I've decided that Yi Dingdang will be my goddess from now on. In the future, I will look for a wife according to her standards." TSK. Then you can only be a bachelor for the rest of your life. Haha. Yes, she's a goddess. What is a goddess? She's not something that ordinary people can compare to. If you want to find a goddess like her, what else can you do but be a bachelor? When those love-struck girls heard these words, they were very indignant. They muttered, "What goddess? She's crazy. Let's see how arrogant she can be after she gets beaten down by President Jiang Chuan." The two of them had already exchanged dozens of blows. Yi Dingdang had complete control of the rhythm. Although the two of them had the same cultivation, Yi Dingdong's Jade Women's Heart Sutra was clearly superior. Jiang Chuan Yuanya gradually lost confidence. If this continued, he would be defeated, and the great situation he had worked so hard to build would be destroyed. No, Master has high hopes for me and has given me such an important mission. I've already come this far, so how can I lose? I must win. Where did this girl come from? She was so powerful. In the past 2 years, Yenqing University didn't have a real martial artist. They were all fancy but impractical. I easily destroyed that ancient martial arts society and gathered such a large group of Huaxia people who are loyal to the island nation. I can't let all of this go to waste. Yes, they only have this girl who's powerful. As long as I defeat her, no one will dare to challenge me in the future. Jiang Chuan Yuanya's eyes revealed a sinister look. He suddenly stared at Yi Dingdong's chest and thought of a plan. He secretly sneered, "I've finally found a way to defeat you." Jiang Chuan Yuanya took a few steps back and retreated to the wall. The students watching the two of them retreated. Seeing that Jiang Chuan Yuanya was forced into a corner, many people cheered excitedly. Yi Dingdang will win. Yi Dingdang will win. Yi Dingdang smiled proudly and said in a low voice, "Let's see what other tricks you have up your sleeve." She attacked, and Jiang Chuan Yuanya hurriedly reacted as if he was caught off guard. He met it with a palm, but the other hand was hidden behind the palm in front of him. Bang! Jiang Chuan Yuanya took this attack. His palm felt like it was going to break. He retreated, but was blocked by the wall. There was no way to retreat. His back slammed heavily into the wall, causing him to grimace in pain. However, his other hand that was hidden behind the wall grabbed towards Yi Dingdong's chest. Yi Dingdang had used up all her moves. Seeing that the opponent's claws were grabbing at her chest, she was furious. This must be part of the opponent's plan. It was too late for her to fight back, so the claws would definitely grab her chest. Even if she fought back and defeated the opponent later, it would be a great humiliation, and her victory would be greatly reduced. Too cunning. Yi Dingdang gritted her teeth. There was nothing she could do. She could only watch the claws come at her. All of this seemed to take a long time to describe, but it actually happened in the blink of an eye. Although many people saw through Jiang Chuan Yuanya's dirty move, they could do nothing about it. Tang Zheng's spirit shivered, and his murderous intent flared up. "Devil, don't blame me for not holding back if you dare to use dirty tricks." Whoosh! A strong wind blew past, blowing the hair beside Yi Ding-dong's ears. Before she could react, a palm appeared in front of her and met Jiang Chuan Yuanya's claws. Bang! With a muffled sound, Jiang Chuan Yuanya bounced back violently, as if he had been hit by a train. He crashed into the wall, and a human figure appeared on the wall. Dust fell bit by bit. Puffed. Jiang Chuan Yuanya spat out a mouthful of blood and slid down the wall. He knelt on the ground, panting heavily. Tang Zheng casually pulled Yi Ding-dang into his arms. Yi Ding-dang felt the warm embrace and let down her guard. Her heart was filled with indescribable gratitude and sweetness. He had helped her out. He was indeed her hero. Every time she needed help, he would appear by her side. From ordinary Balance Mountain to that border town, and then just now, it was the same every time. He is my hero. I made the right choice. Yi Ding-dang felt as if her whole body was about to melt. Are you okay? Tang Zheng asked with concern. Yi Ding-dang shook her head. I'm fine. You rest first. I'll deal with him, Tang Zheng said in a low voice. Yi Ding-dang naturally understood that Jiang Chuan Yuanya was no match for Tang Zheng. She nodded obediently. This person is full of tricks. You have to be careful, Tang Zheng said disdainfully. In the face of absolute strength, all schemes and tricks are clumsy performances. They can't even withstand a single blow. Tang Zheng's aura was like a rainbow. Many people who were silently criticizing him couldn't help but wonder if their eyes were playing tricks on them. Was this still the boy who was hiding behind a woman just now? How did his aura change so drastically in an instant? Those infatuated girls were even more stunned. Why was President Jiang Chuan, whom they admired, in such a sorry state? What happened just now? For ordinary people, Tang Zheng's movements were too fast. They didn't know what happened at all. In the blink of an eye, they found that Tang Zheng was hugging Yi Ding-dang, and Jiang Chuan Yuanya was kneeling on the ground in a sorry state. However, those with discerning eyes knew that all this must have been caused by Tang Zheng. It turned out that he was the real master. He just didn't make a move just now. Once he made a move, he made a big move. It was too awesome. Many people's blood was boiling. Who said that boys had to hide behind women? Who said that there were no masters? Wasn't this the case? The great Huaxia couldn't allow a few foreigners from an island nation to show off their strength. This time they would know their power. Good job. Many people clenched their fists and waved excitedly. Teach that island nation a good lesson. He's so despicable. He just blasphemed my goddess. It's unforgivable. Obviously, Jiang Chuan Yuanya's despicable behavior just now had already made people unhappy. Tang Zheng looked at Jiang Chuan Yuanya condescendingly, and the other party finally raised his head. He gritted his teeth, and a fierce light burst out of his eyes. He was like a hungry wolf that was about to devour someone. So you're the master. Jiang Chuan Yuanya gritted his teeth and said word by word. He had misjudged. This person clearly didn't have the slightest fluctuation of internal energy. However, the other party defeated him in one move. What did this mean? This meant that Tang Zheng was much more powerful than him. That was why he could hide his cultivation level so seamlessly in front of him. He didn't know that this was because Tang Zheng wasn't a martial artist. Of course, there wouldn't be any fluctuations of internal energy. He got up, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and said, "Who are you? You don't have to know who I am. Didn't you say that there are no real martial artists in Huaxia? I'll show you today. However, if you lose, your samurai club will be dissolved on the spot. Don't come out and embarrass yourself in the future. Go back to your island nation," Tang Zheng said firmly. Why should I listen to you?" Jiang Chuanya said unhappily. "Didn't you use this method to dissolve the ancient martial arts club? I'm here to kick your ass today. Since you're not as good as others, what's the point of your club existing?" Tang Zheng said aggressively. "You don't have the final say in disbanding the club. This is a case in school. You don't have the right." The infatuated girls jumped out again and retorted. Tang Zheng narrowed his eyes slightly and turned his head to look. The infatuated girls felt as if a knife was placed on their necks. A chill rose from the soles of their feet. "What are you doing?" they asked anxiously. If you don't know how to behave, go back to your mother's stomach. Don't come out and embarrass yourself. That's not embarrassing you, but the face of this country. They were so angry that they were speechless. Yes, go back. Don't come out and embarrass yourself. Zhou was already filled with righteous indignation and roared. Immediately, Sinosaurus, Wang Shiji, and the others also hurriedly echoed. The roars in the crowd grew louder and louder. Go back, go back. The infatuated girls looked terrified and retreated step by step. The other party, whom they had originally ridiculed, actually had such power when united. It was an energy that made them afraid. Tang Zheng turned his head and stared at Jiangchuan Yuanya. Whether you agree or not, this matter has been decided. As long as you lose, if you dare to use the name of the club to swindle people again, I'll beat you up every time I see you. Jiangchuan Yuanya was forced into a corner and his face was ashen. He had been in Huaxia for more than 2 years and had never met someone like Tang Zheng. Many people didn't listen to him and tried to curry favor with him when they heard that he was a foreigner. Moreover, he did have some real skills. He was really like a fish in water and was even more carefree than in his own country. But he never expected this Chen Yaojin to appear halfway. Chapter 322. Jiangchuan Yuanya had no choice but to accept the challenge. He said, "Since you want to challenge me, then of course I have to show my best. I'm best at swordsmanship, so I know how to use weapons. Everyone knows that Ghent is a patriotic pine." Tang Zheng said without fear, "Do as you wish. I don't even need a weapon to beat you until you are looking for your teeth all over the floor." Jiangchuan Yuanya snorted and returned to the shed where the club was recruiting new members. He took out a katana, held it with both hands, and stood in front of Tang Zheng. Swords have no eyes. It's not too late to admit defeat now. When the others saw that Jiangchuan Yuanya was holding a weapon while Tang Zheng was barehanded, they all felt that it was unfair. This is not fair. You're using a katana while he doesn't have any weapons. It's an unfair win. Yes, the Island Nation people are too despicable. Tang Zheng clasped his fist at the crowd and said, "Thank you for your concern. Today, I will beat him without weapons. Please be a witness and prove Huaxia's martial arts." Jiangchuan Yuanya snorted in disdain and roared. He held the katana tightly with both hands and slashed it with all his might. Whoosh! The blade brushed past Tang Zheng's cheek, and he could even feel the coldness from the blade. The others' hearts were in their throats. Li Fangfei and the others said nervously, "Can Tang Zheng win? 5 by 10. Yi Dingding nodded firmly. "Of course, I don't doubt it." Tang Zheng dodged the attack and hit the katana with his palm. Bang! The katana flew to the side and almost fell out of Jiangchuan Yunya's hand. Jiangchuan Yuanya's expression changed. He thought that with a weapon, he could at least be in an invincible position. He didn't expect that the opponent's strength was far beyond his imagination. However, he couldn't admit defeat just like that. He could only attack again with the katana. Island Nation's swordsmanship was extremely powerful, and most of them were slashing and stabbing. Many changes were also derived from this. Compared to Huaxia's truly versatile swordsmanship, it was child's play. Tang Zheng did not use the heavenly fairy sword technique. It was better to restrain himself a little in broad daylight. Therefore, when faced with Jiangchuan Yuanya's attack, he could only use the Heaven Gathering Hand to counterattack. The Heaven's Gathering Hand was also a martial arts technique that was ever-changing. Although it was barehanded, it did not lose out to Jiangchuan Yuanya at all. The two of them went back and forth, their palms and blades crisscrossing, the sound of collisions never ending. Every time Tang Zheng counterattacked, the angle was very clever. The place where his palm hit was always the blade, not the blade. It looked very dangerous to outsiders, but to Tang Zheng, it was very safe. However, with every slap, the steel katana would bend, as if it could break at any moment. Jiangchuan Yuanya's arm began to feel numb. If he continued to be in such a passive situation, he would definitely lose. "I have to fight back." A light flashed in Jiangchuan Yuanya's eyes, and he slashed again at close range. Tang Zheng did the same, taking the opponent's continuous attacks one after another. However, this time, Jiang Chuanyunye was holding the katana with one hand, and the other hand was hanging by his waist. No one noticed this abnormality. Suddenly, a cold light flashed, and a short katana appeared in Jiang Chuanyunye's empty hand. It appeared and disappeared mysteriously, stabbing toward Tang Zheng's abdomen. The two of them were not far from each other, and the katana slashed again and again, firmly attracting Tang Zheng's attention. Therefore, he did not notice the attack at all. By the time he realized it, it was already too late. At this time, Yi Dingdang also noticed this scene. She could not help but exclaim, "Be careful." There was a long blade above and a short blade below, attacking from top to bottom. It was abnormally ruthless and ingenious. The corner of Jiang Chuanyunye's mouth curled up into a sneer as he thought to himself, "Let's see how you counterattack now. This slash will definitely injure you severely. Even if it can't kill you, it can guarantee my victory. In the future, no one in this school will dare to challenge me." Tang Zheng's eyes lit up. With a low roar, the bastard Vajra art activated on its own. A faint golden luster appeared on the skin of his abdomen, but it was covered by his clothes, and no one could see it. Tang Zheng had already cultivated the chaotic Vajra art to the first level of the copper skin realm. Especially after he wrapped his abdomen with true qi, this area of his body became even tougher. Puff! Under everyone's watchful eyes, the clothes on Tang Zheng's abdomen were pierced, and a short blade pierced into his body. Clang! A soft sound rang out. Jiang Chuanyunye felt as if the short blade had encountered an iron wall and could not pierce through. He turned pale with fright. What was going on? Could it be that there was a steel plate hidden under his clothes? When the others saw this scene, they thought that Tang Zheng's body had been pierced through by the short blade. They all screamed, and many people couldn't bear to see this and covered their eyes. Zhou Yin and the others even rushed towards Tang Zheng to help him. Yi Dingdong's eyes lit up as she shouted, "Don't go up, Tang Zheng is fine." She was extremely shocked in her heart. What kind of martial arts did Tang Zheng cultivate? Such a fierce stab was actually unable to injure him. Could it be that he cultivates some kind of martial arts? But this kind of martial arts is extremely difficult to cultivate. Without a few decades of foundation, it is impossible to reach the realm of invulnerability. Seeing the shock in Jiang Chuanyunye's eyes, Tang Zheng's mouth curled up into a cold smile. The chaotic Vajra art was indeed extraordinary, to be able to block such a fierce attack. Just now, he felt a wave of pain, but he was sure that the short blade did not pierce his skin, so he did not retreat. Instead, he took a step forward and released his innate qi, causing a strong rebound force to erupt from his abdomen. Crack! With a crisp sound, the short blade broke into two pieces. Jiang Chuanyunye lowered his head in disbelief, looking at the short blade in his hand that only had half of it left. This weapon forged from steel was actually so weak. In the past, many people had died from this move of his, but today it had actually failed. Tang Zheng took the opportunity to slap the long blade with his palm. This palm contained a terrifying amount of power, and with another cautious sound, the long blade broke inch by inch. The entire blade turned into pieces and scattered all over the ground. Jiang Chuanyunye was shocked and quickly retreated. Only now did he understand that he had met the strongest enemy in his life, and that he was far from being able to contend against him. He flew backwards, but Tang Zheng was even faster than him. When he took a step back, Tang Zheng had already taken 2 steps forward and slapped both of his palms on his chest. Bang! With a thunderous explosion, Jiang Chuanyunye's chest caved in, and he flew towards the wall. This time, he really smashed a deep hole, and bricks fell down one by one. The crowd had forgotten to cheer and were dumbfounded. This scene was too shocking. It turned out that Hua Xia's martial arts were so powerful. In the past, so many people thought that it was just showy and impractical. They were simply frogs at the bottom of a well, sitting in a well and looking at the sky. Yi Dingdang and the others quickly surrounded him and asked at once, "Tang Zheng, are you okay?" They all looked at his abdomen, but did not see any blood. Tang Zheng shook his head, indicating that he was fine. Then is he dead? Looking at the motionless Jianchuan Yuanya, Zhou Yin asked, Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I won't die. Just now, Tang Zheng really had the ability to kill with one blow, but with so many people watching, if he killed in broad daylight, he would definitely get into trouble. Although he had previously said that life and death were not to be discussed, Tang Zheng still had some considerations in order to avoid trouble. There were many ways to kill Jianchuan Yuanya, and there was no need to cause trouble for himself in front of so many people. Sure enough, Jianchuan Yuanya got up in a sorry state. His body was covered in dust, and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. He looked at Tang Zheng in horror and moved his lips, not knowing what to say. Tang Zheng strode towards the other party, and the strong murderous intent made Jianchuan Yuanya's heart almost stop. He held his breath and truly felt the threat of death. He believed that Tang Zheng would really kill him. What are you going to do? Tang Zheng sneered and said, The outcome has been decided, and your Bullsh * Tea Club is disbanded. Otherwise, next time it won't be this little bit of suffering. Hatred flashed in Jianchuan Yuanya's eyes. He wanted to say something, but in the end, under Tang Zheng's knife-like gaze, he did not dare to speak. He hung his head dejectedly, like a stray dog. At this time, the crowd's cheers completely erupted, and it was earth-shattering. The few infatuated girls took the opportunity to slip away. Let's go. Tang Zheng turned around and left. When he passed by the Bushido Club's recruitment billboard, he stopped and glanced at the billboard. The others kept quiet and looked at him attentively, not knowing what he was going to do. Suddenly, Tang Zheng roared, jumped, and kicked the billboard, which was specially made of wood, into pieces and scattered in all directions. Seeing this, Jianchuan Yunye's face turned the color of pig liver, and his eyes were about to spit fire. However, he could only watch Tang Zheng leave. Jianchuan Yunye limped and left in a sorry state. He walked to an empty corner and lifted his clothes. The two palm prints on his chest were visible, and the blood had accumulated on his chest. It was a shocking sight, and even his muscles had caved in a lot. The heart-wrenching pain eroded his nerves, and he could not help but scream in a low voice. Tang Zheng, if I don't take revenge, I'm not human. A dazzling light burst out from his eyes. Hello, master. Have you arrived in the capital? He took a deep breath, suppressed the pain, and dialed a number. Yuanya, I just got off the plane. This time, I came to Xia specifically for your martial uncle's whereabouts. Have you found out his whereabouts during this time? Master, I only found out that martial uncle went to the south, and then there was no news. The south? What did he go there for? I don't know. Martial uncle's group is very mysterious, and I've only seen him once. Master, I met a master today. A master? Yes, I was injured by him, and even the Bushido Club couldn't continue because of him. Baka, bastard, don't you know the heavy responsibility of the club? The other party roared. Jianchuan Yuanya felt bitter. How could he not know the heavy responsibility of the club? This was a spy club that screened out people from Huaxia who were loyal to the island nation. As these people graduated from famous schools, they would have good achievements in the future, and with the secret support of the island nation, many of them would even reach a very high position, and thus gain more benefits for the island nation. Who is that master? How dare he obstruct the interests of the island nation? We must eliminate him, the other party said murderously. Chapter 323. As night fell, Tang Zheng did not return to the dormitory. On his way back, he saw Jianchuan Yuanya walking out of the school from afar. Everyone knew that Gint was a patriotic pine. It was already dark. Jianchuan Yuanya was injured, but he did not rest in the dormitory. Instead, he took advantage of the night to walk out of the school. This made Tang Zheng feel that it was unusual. He had crossed swords with the people of the island nation a few times and knew how crazy they were. Although he had defeated Jianchuan Yuanya, the other party might not be convinced. Since he was sneaking around, Tang Zheng naturally had to follow him to see what was going on. Under the night sky, Jiangchuan Yuanya was very fast. After a simple treatment, he couldn't wait to go to the hotel to meet his master, Sawada Ichiro, to discuss how to deal with Tang Zheng. He was completely unaware that there was a figure following him not far behind and following him to the five-star hotel. Seeing Jiangchuan Yuanya sneaking into a room, Tang Zheng turned around and jumped out of the window of the stairwell. Like Spider-Man, he climbed up the wall of the hotel that was dozens of meters high. After a moment, he hid outside the window of the target's room. A conversation could be heard from the room. "Master, this Tang Zheng ruined our plans. We must not let him go," Jiangchuan Yuanya said through gritted teeth. "Bastard, you were actually defeated by a Huaxia person. Who is he?" "He's just a student." "Oomph, then I'll go meet him. I must get rid of him." Tang Zheng laid on the wall, feeling the night breeze, and frowned. These two fellows were actually speaking the language of the island nation. Tang Zheng could not understand a single word, but he seemed to have heard his own name. Even though the pronunciation was a bit strange, he was sure that the other party had mentioned him. This Jiangchuan Yuanya actually has an accomplice. Judging from their tone, they definitely don't have anything good to say about me. There's a high chance that they're planning to deal with me. Oomph, I knew that the people of the island nation wouldn't let this go. Well, if that's the case, then I don't have to be polite with you. Knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. A person walked in and said loudly, "Mr. Sawada Ichiro, nice to meet you. Why didn't you inform me that you were coming to Beijing? If I hadn't come to Beijing to discuss business, I wouldn't have been able to see you." Tang Zheng was shocked. The person who said this was a Huaxia, but the voice was very familiar. Tang Zheng seemed to have heard it somewhere before. "Young Master Long, nice to meet you. I was just about to visit you in Dianan. I didn't expect you to be in the capital," Sawada Ichiro said with a fake smile. "Haha, that's just right. I'll take care of the business in Beijing these few days, and then we'll go to Dianan together. I'll do my part as a host." Tang Zheng was shocked, but he also came to a realization. No wonder the voice was so familiar. The other party was the young master of the Southern Yunnan Dragon Clan, Long Tengyu. Long Tengyu is actually in contact with these devils, and from his tone, he seems to be very close and familiar with them. Fortunately, I came here with Jiangchuan Yuanya tonight, otherwise I wouldn't have known such important information. Mr. Sawada Ichiro, I'm really sorry about what happened to Wang Fuchuan last time. I didn't expect that Mu Hongyan, that bitch, would actually find out what Wang Fuchuan did. Fortunately, I took care of Wang Fuchuan, otherwise our cooperation would have been exposed. My old man will definitely be furious if he knows about this. Actually, the Long family should have been handed over to young Master Long to take care of. It was a wrong decision to let an outsider take care of it. Sawada Ichiro said in a deep voice. Long Tengyu said hatefully, "Who said it wasn't?" But my old man just believed that bitch. He said that she was some kind of business genius and handed over most of the family business to her. It really pissed me off. Young Master Long, I believe that with our cooperation, the Long family's huge business will definitely be handed over to you. Haha, I have always believed in your strength. This time, we must plan well and give that bitch a fatal blow. Don't worry, young Master Long. I will stay in Huaxia for a while. We have enough time to plan all this. I believe that we will let young Master Long get satisfied benefits. Hearing this series of dialogue, Tang Zheng's heart was in turmoil. It turned out that Wang Fuchuan, who was murdered by Xiao Xiaoling on the train, was actually Long Tengyu's subordinate. It was just that the matter was exposed, so Long Tengyu found someone to kill him. Long Tengyu is really despicable. In order to deal with Mu Hongyan, he actually joined forces with the devils and forgot the classics. Mr. Sawada Ichiro, I still have a meal. There's a great beauty waiting for me. I'll go first, hee. Long Tengyu said. Young Master Long, please. We'll contact you later. Hearing Long Tengyu's footsteps leaving the room, Tang Zheng was hesitant. This Long Tengyu had always wanted to deal with Mu Hongyan. Did he come to the capital this time for this matter? No, for the sake of Nana, and for the sake of Mu Hongyan, I must follow Long Tengyu to see what the hell he is up to. As for these people from the island nation, they can't run away anyway, so I don't have to show up in a hurry. Tang Zheng returned to the building from the window of the stairwell and just happened to see Long Tingyu walk into the elevator. Tang Zheng hurriedly rushed over and finally found that the elevator stopped on the third floor. The third floor is a restaurant. Could it be that Long Tingyu's dinner is in this hotel? Tang Zheng also went down to the third floor. He saw that the third floor was a magnificent restaurant, but there was no trace of Long Tingyu in the hall. The other party must have gone to a private room. The waiter hurriedly came up to him and asked politely, "Sir, may I ask if you want to eat?" Tang Zheng said calmly, "Which room did young Master Long book?" The waiter immediately revealed a bright smile and said, "Sky Room 1. Young Master Long just entered. I'll bring you there." Tang Zheng heaved a sigh of relief. Obviously, Long Tingyu was a regular here, so even the waiter knew him. Indeed, every time Long Tingyu came to the capital, he would stay in this hotel, so even the waiter remembered his face. Tang Zheng waved his hand and said indifferently, "No need, I'll go by myself." He walked into the restaurant with his head held high and his chest puffed out. Soon he found Sky Room 1. It seemed to be very lively inside, and the faint sound of toasting could be heard. Tang Zheng couldn't just rush in like that. That way, he wouldn't be able to find out Long Tingyu's scheme. From time to time, there would be guests and waiters passing by, so Tang Zheng couldn't lie on top of the door. Furthermore, this private room was on the third floor, so if he were to lie on top of the wall, everyone on the street would be able to see him clearly. Forget it, I'll just keep an eye on this door. He'll come out eventually, so I'd like to see who he's meeting with. Tang Zheng hid in a shadow in the distance, and just happened to be able to see the door of the private room. After waiting for 2 hours, he finally saw the door open. Long Tingyu walked out like a moon surrounded by stars, and a familiar figure jumped into Tang Zheng's eyes. How could it be her? Lu Qingmei, who left without saying goodbye. Looking at the figure in the crowd, Tang Zheng was dumbfounded. After he and Lu Qingmei had a close relationship, Lu Qingmei left without saying goodbye, as if she had disappeared from the face of the earth. Tang Zheng only knew that Lu Qingmei's father was the governor, and wanted to ask him about Lu Qingmei's whereabouts. However, after thinking about it, after what had happened between the two of them, and Lu Qingmei had taken the initiative to leave, showing her attitude, she did not want to have anything to do with Tang Zheng in the future, so as not to increase the awkwardness. Just now, Long Tingyu said that there was a great beauty waiting for him. Could it be that he was talking about Lu Qingmei? Tang Zheng had a strange feeling at the bottom of his heart. He was the first man in Lu Qingmei's body, and seeing her by Long Tingyu's side, a burst of anger rose from the bottom of his heart. No, we can't let her walk with Long Tingyu. Tang Zheng clenched his teeth and quietly followed. Qingmei, send young Master Long back to his room. A middle-aged man with a big belly said with a smile. He even smiled flatteringly at Long Tingyu. Young Master Long, rest well tonight. I'll leave this batch of orders to you. Long Tingyu waved his hand and said heroically, Don't worry, that batch of orders is a piece of cake. Lu Qingmei, who had been silent all this time, said, Boss, I still have to go to work tomorrow. I have to go back early. Let the others send young Master Long back to his room. What's so difficult about that? I'll give you a day off tomorrow. Be obedient and send young Master Long back to his room. They are our company's distinguished guests. The big-bellied man said unquestionably. Yes, Qingmei, just send him off. Our performance is all counting on young Master Long. How can we neglect our distinguished guests? The others quickly chimed in. Lu Qingmei nodded reluctantly. Long Tingyu and the big-bellied man looked at each other. The corners of their mouths hooked up into an imperceptible smile. Tang Zheng quietly followed Long Tingyu and Lu Qingmei up to the 18th floor. From afar, he saw the two standing at the door. He heard Lu Qingmei say, Young Master Long, your room is here. I'm going back. Long Tingyu smiled and said, Why are you in such a hurry? You didn't drink a single drop of wine at the table. Now give me some face and accompany me in for a drink. Lu Qingmei said with a cold face, Young Master Long, I don't know how to drink. Ever since that night, she swore never to drink again. She absolutely could not let that kind of situation happen again. Tang Zheng heard the conversation between the two from afar. His heart ached. He could already confirm that the flower thief that night was Takashi. No, to be precise, he was Daoist Tianji's disciple. However, in the end, it was Tang Zheng who took advantage of it. Long Tingyu's face darkened and said, "Miss Liu, are you not giving me face? It's just a glass of wine. It's not a big deal. If you don't agree, then your company's business is out of the question." According to Lu Qingmei's temper in the past, she would definitely answer without hesitation. So what if it's yellow? It's none of my business. But after that incident, her temper changed a lot. Moreover, she came to the capital alone to make a living. She wanted to rely on her own ability to make a career. She had just entered the company not long ago, so for the sake of performance, she chose to endure. She resisted the urge to turn around and leave and said, "Young Master Long, I really don't know how to drink." "You don't drink, right? Then can you drink a cup of coffee?" "I've already given in. If you still don't give me face, then there's really no need to talk about this business," Long Tingyu said sternly. Lu Qingmei hesitated for a moment, then nodded and said, "All right, I'll just drink a cup of coffee and leave." "That's more like it." Long Tingyu's lips curled into a sinister smile as he closed the door. Chapter 324. Seeing the two of them enter the door, Tang Zheng was sure that Long Tingyu definitely did not have good intentions. Back then in Dianan, he dared to have ill intentions towards Fong Shi, and this was also the germination of his old habits. Everyone's Ghent was a patriotic pine. "Long Tangyu, you've dared to lay your hands on my woman time and time again. Today is the day you die." Tang Zheng gritted his teeth. Inside the room, Long Tingyu brewed 2 cups of coffee and handed them over to Lu Qingmei. He smiled and said, "In this capital, there are not many beautiful ladies like Miss Liu. I am very happy to meet Miss Liu today." "Thank you," Lu Qingmei said coldly. "I've finished my coffee, so I'm leaving." "Miss Liu, why are you in such a hurry? We can chat for a while and talk about our hearts." "I'm sorry, I need to go back and rest." "You can rest here too." Lu Qingmei's expression suddenly changed and said, "Young Master Long, please show some respect." "Respect? Haha. I have always respected women, especially great beauties. I am very gentle." Long Tingyu laughed evilly. Lu Qingmei did not want to say more, so she stood up and walked towards the door. Long Tingyu was stunned for a moment. He did not expect the other party to have such a strong personality, but this made him even more interested. How could he just watch the other party leave? So he said calmly, "If you walk out of this door, then I will make your company go bankrupt tomorrow." Lu Qingmei originally had a fluke mentality, thinking that drinking a cup of coffee would be enough, but she did not expect Long Tingyu to have such evil intentions. This was something she absolutely could not tolerate, so she turned around and looked at Long Tingyu with disgust and said resolutely, "If you go bankrupt, then go bankrupt. That has nothing to do with me." Long Tingyu flew into a rage. F***CK. This young master will eat you today. "You want to run?" "No way. Why get you into bed later? Let's see how you can still be so noble." With that, he pounced towards Lu Qingmei like a tiger pouncing on its prey. Lu Qingmei's wrist was immediately grabbed by him. Lu Qingmei was just an ordinary person. How could he be a match for a martial artist like Long Tingyu? She couldn't help but scream, waving the handbag in her hand and smashing it on Long Tingyu's head. Long Tingyu did not expect the other party to dare to resist, and was even more furious. With a swing of his hand, Lu Qingmei was lightly thrown onto the bed. Lu Qingmei screamed. She did not expect that things would turn out this way. Here, no one would come to save her. No one would come to save her. She wanted to cry, but had no tears. A figure involuntarily appeared in her mind, Tang Zheng. "Tang Zheng, can you save me again?" Back then, after she left ordinary balance without a word, she thought that the memories of that night would gradually fade away. She didn't expect that it would be like a spell replaying in her mind over and over again. She knew that what happened that night could not be blamed on Tang Zheng, but rather on that despicable criminal who drugged her. But she was a teacher, and Tang Zheng was a student. So for something like this to happen between the two, she could not face it. During the days she came to the capital, she wanted to forget that figure through work. She didn't expect that figure to become clearer and clearer in the middle of the night. The more she wanted to forget, the clearer she remembered it. She couldn't help but recall the bits and pieces of her acquaintance with Tang Zheng. Originally, she didn't have much feelings for this student, but after Tang Zheng's outstanding performance time and time again, his image gradually filled up in her heart. Especially after Tang Zheng risked his life to save her from Song Donghua's evil clutches. Tang Zheng's image was finally fixed in her heart and couldn't be erased. However, Lu Qingmei didn't notice this. Although their relationship became closer and closer, and she was more and more concerned about Tang Zheng, she still subconsciously attributed it to the feelings between a teacher and a student. However, she didn't realize that this had already surpassed the feelings between a teacher and a student. It was the purest love between a man and a woman. She made a move on Tang Zheng. However, she had already left Tang Zheng. Her pride made it impossible for her to go back and look for Tang Zheng. However, at this moment, she hoped that Tang Zheng would appear and save her from the evil clutches just like before. If Tang Zheng appeared again, then she definitely wouldn't let him go. Instead, she would be loyal to her heart and accompany him. But she knew that this was just wishful thinking. It was impossible. How did Tang Zheng know that she was in danger? Let's see how you can escape from my grasp. This young master will play with you tonight. Long Tengyu laughed maniacally, pretending to pounce on the beauty on the bed. Kacha! There was a soft sound of the door being turned, and then the door opened, and a person rushed in. Long Tengyu's heart skipped a beat. He hurriedly turned his head and roared. Who is it that came to ruin my good fortune? He didn't see the person clearly because the other party's speed was too fast. As soon as he finished speaking, a huge fist rushed toward his chest. He hurriedly counterattacked. After all, his skills were not bad. With a backhand slap, a surging force crashed into his palm, while another force crashed into his chest. Like a kite with a broken string, he flew to a corner and smashed a table into pieces. Lu Qingmei had already given up all hope, but when she saw this scene, her screams came to an abrupt end. She stared at the person who had come, dumbfounded. She screamed again. This time, it was mixed with ecstasy. Did the heavens hear her prayer? A miracle had actually happened. Tang Zheng had really appeared. If this was not the arrangement of the heavens, how could all of this have happened? She was deeply moved, and tears welled up in her eyes. She was truly blessed. Tang Zheng was her guardian angel. No matter what danger she encountered, Tang Zheng would appear in time. Tang Zheng looked at Lu Qingmei, who was crying on the bed, and his heart softened. He asked softly, "Are you all right?" Lu Qingmei shook her head and threw herself into Tang Zheng's arms. She was so excited that she said incoherently, "I knew you would come back to save me. I've been waiting for you for so long. I'll never let you leave again. I'll be with you for the rest of my life." As she spoke, she actually took the initiative to kiss Tang Zheng passionately. Tang Zheng was flabbergasted. He did not expect Lu Qingmei to be so enthusiastic. That familiar smell made him involuntarily recall the scene of that night. He hugged Lu Qingmei and would never let go. She was his, Tang Zheng's, woman, and he would never allow outsiders to touch her. Tang Zheng's head rose with a man's arrogance and strong desire to possess. The famous flower was already taken, and if anyone dared to have any ideas about this flower, then he would crush them into pieces. Long Tingyu finally saw clearly who the person was. When he saw that face, his expression immediately became very interesting. This face was his nightmare. Back then, he had almost killed him in the Long family's territory. If Long Xianyuan had not stopped him, then he would have already become a wandering ghost under Tang Zheng's sword. He was filled with anger towards this person. He had always wanted to take revenge, but he had never found the right opportunity. But this time, actually met again by accident. Furthermore, it seemed that this Lu Qingmei had an unusual relationship with him. Why? Why were all the beauties in the world related to Tang Zheng? Why were all these women willing to surround Tang Zheng? Mu Hongyan was like this, Fang Shishir was like this, and even this Lu Qingmei, who was originally unrelated to him, actually had such a relationship with Tang Zheng. Long Tingyu really wanted to ask the heavens why they were so unfair, and even kissed him passionately in front of him. Wasn't this woman a chaste and virtuous woman just now? Why was she so passionate towards Tang Zheng? Long Tingyu's eyes gradually turned red. He crawled up in a sorry state and roared, "Tang Zheng, you ruined my plans again." The two of them had no choice but to let go of each other. Lu Qingmei snuggled into Tang Zheng's arms like a little bird and asked curiously, "Do you know each other?" "Yes. Enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. I didn't kill him last time, but this time he actually came out to harm others." Tang Zheng said hatefully, "Tang Zheng, I didn't kill you last time in Dianan. This time I met you again. That will be the time of your death." Long Tingyu said fiercely. Tang Zheng disdainfully said, "Just whose time of death is this? I believe you know in your heart." He turned to Lu Qingmei and said softly, "Sister Mei, you watch from the side. I'll deal with this beast first." Long Tingyu was shocked. He suddenly remembered that he was not a match for Tang Zheng. Looking at the other party's aggressive gaze, he knew that this time there was no way to be kind. As long as I rush out of this door, Tang Zheng will not be able to escape. Sawada Ichiro is an expert of the island. He will definitely be able to defeat this brat. That's right. Let's use Sawada Ichiro to kill this brat. Long Tingyu thought of a plan. His heart was set. He roared and directly rushed towards Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng attacked, but it missed because Long Tingyu's attack was just a feint. His real goal was to rush to the door. Seeing that he had already swept past Tang Zheng's heart moved, and he understood the other party's thoughts. He shouted, "You want to escape? Come back." The earth-shrinking technique exploded, and his speed suddenly increased. Just as the other party's hand was about to touch the door handle, he grabbed the other party's neck and threw him back. Bang! Long Tingyu fell onto the bed, smashing the sturdy bed and sinking into the quilt. Tang Zheng tiptoed and pounced forward again. Long Tingyu took a deep breath, slapped the ground with his palm, then stood up and quickly dodged backwards. In this narrow space, only two figures could be seen moving and dodging. They were so fast that no one could see them clearly. This was the first time Lu Qingmei had seen Tang Zheng's true skills. She couldn't help but hold her breath. Her tears had stopped, and her eyes gradually lit up. So Tang Zheng was actually so powerful. Her little heart thumped wildly, as if she had a whole new understanding of Tang Zheng, and the feelings in her heart had finally completely exploded. I'm her woman, and she's my guardian. She was overjoyed and became more and more determined. Long Tingyu fled like a stray dog, but there was no way for him to rush out of the room. The soundproofing effect of the room was very good. Even if they fought in the room until it was dark and blood flowed like a river, no one outside would notice. He regretted not falling. Why didn't he find another hotel with poor soundproofing? That way, he wouldn't have to be so passive. He gradually felt that death was approaching him. Chapter 325. Long Tingyu was filled with regret and hatred. Tang Zheng was simply his nemesis. Ever since he met Tang Zheng, nothing in his life had gone smoothly. Ghent is a patriotic pine. It wasn't easy for him to come to the capital this time, but he didn't expect that he still couldn't get rid of this nemesis. Tang Zheng, are you really going to kill me? I'm the son of Long Xinyuan. If you kill me, the old man will not let you go. Long Tingyu was ready to use his father's name to scare Tang Zheng. You've harmed countless people by relying on the Long family. Today, I'm going to get rid of this evil for the people. You want me to let you go? No way. Tang Zheng's attitude was resolute. His attacks became fiercer and fiercer. When he saw an opening in his opponent's defense, he struck his opponent's chest with his palm. Bang! Long Tingyu crashed into the glass window. With a crashing sound, the glass shattered into pieces and he flew straight out. Ah! Long Tingyu screamed miserably. This was a tall building with more than 10 floors. He was scared out of his wits. He grabbed onto the windowsill and shouted, "Tang Zheng, I beg you, don't kill me. I'll give you whatever you want. Isn't it just a woman? At worst, I'll never touch your woman again." Murderous intent flashed in Tang Zheng's eyes. He knew very well that the words of this kind of playboy could not be easily believed. It was better to believe that pigs could fly than to hope that they would turn over a new leaf. Bang! Unspecified currency. Tang Zheng once again slapped Long Tingyu's finger that was grabbing onto the window. Kacha! The finger bone shattered. Long Tingyu subconsciously let go of his hand, and his body quickly fell down. Ah! A blood-curdling scream echoed through the night sky. Tang Zheng didn't look at her for long. He grabbed Lu Qingmei's hand and said, "Sister Mei, let's go." The two of them quickly went downstairs. Just as they walked out of the hotel entrance, they saw the hotel staff running towards the direction where Long Tingyu had fallen. No one noticed that the two of them had disappeared into the night. They only stopped when they had passed a few streets. Lu Qingmei gasped for breath. Just now, her adrenaline had been secreted rapidly. Now that the momentum had passed, she felt a little scared and her legs were a little weak. "Tang Zheng, did you really kill him?" Lu Qingmei asked in fear. Tang Zheng calmly said, "Don't worry, this kind of person deserves to die. But he is from the Long family in Dianan. You will get into trouble." Lu Qingmei said worriedly. Tang Zheng shook his head and said nothing. Anyway, he had already offended the Chu family in the capital. He didn't care about offending the Long family in Dianan. Besides, in that situation, Tang Zheng really couldn't control his anger. It was impossible for him to not do something. Seeing Tang Zheng's understatement, Lu Qingmei couldn't figure him out. She still advised, "Let's leave the capital together and return to the ordinary balance. Even if the Long family wants to deal with you in the ordinary balance, I can ask my father to restrain the Long family." Seeing that she didn't hesitate to use her family's strength to resolve this crisis, a warm current flowed through Tang Zheng's heart. He tightly hugged her waist and said righteously, "I am a man. How can I hide behind a woman? Don't worry. We'll deal with whatever comes our way. If the Long family comes, they might not be able to kill me as they wish." Tang Zheng had his last trump card. In the end, he could just hide under the imperial city. Long Xianyuan couldn't break through the formation. It was harder than ascending to the heavens to kill him. Seeing his heroic appearance, Lu Qingmei's heart was about to melt. Leaning in his arms and feeling his surging and powerful heart, her cheeks couldn't help but blush. She thought, why is his masculinity getting stronger and stronger? He is much more mature than when he was in high school. Immediately, she couldn't help but hug his body tightly. Tang Zheng felt her movements, lowered his head to look, and found that her face was flushed red. He couldn't help but stare blankly. He lowered his head and kissed her. Woo-woo. Lu Qingmei symbolically struggled for a moment before she hooked her arms around his neck and responded. This was the first time they had done this kind of thing on the streets. The two people's hearts sped up a bit. Although it was nighttime, there were still many pedestrians who looked over and saluted them. Lu Qingmei's body gradually heated up. Her feelings were like a volcanic eruption, as if she was going to melt. Tang Zheng also felt this burning feeling. He hugged her tightly, wishing that he could rub her into his body. After a long time, Lu Qingmei released because of the lack of oxygen. Her face was like a ripe apple, bright and juicy. She coquettishly said, "Let's go back, not here." She had completely removed her cold disguise and revealed her true side. "I'm living in school now. It's not convenient for me there." "You really came to the capital to go to university?" "Of course, Yenqing University. Of course we're not going back to your school. We're going back to my house. I rented a house nearby." Lu Qingmei said, "Do you want to take a taxi?" "No, you can walk with me. I've been in the capital for so long, but I haven't had a good look at the night scene." Lu Qingmei took a deep breath and said, the air was already a little cold, so she tightened her jacket. I'll take off my coat and give it to you, Tang Zheng said. Lu Qingmei shook her head and said, I'm not cold, just hug me. To her, Tang Zheng's embrace was the warmest place in the world. Tang Zheng hugged her and quietly strolled along the street, like a very intimate couple. At this moment, the hotel was in an uproar. Long Tengyu's fall was very loud, but he did not directly fall to the ground. Instead, he fell to the glass wall of the large advertisement and then fell to the ground after a buffer. But even so, falling from a height of tens of meters still caused a lot of damage. It was unknown how many bones were broken, and he fell into a coma. The hotel staff surrounded him in a circle. Someone had already called for an ambulance, and many hotel guests were pointing at him. It was definitely a big deal for something like this to happen in a five-star hotel. Everyone was guessing the identity of the person who fell from the building and the reason for it. Sawada Ichiro was also in the crowd. He was attracted by Long Tengyu's screams, and when he saw Long Tengyu on the ground, his face revealed a look of shock. He was very clear about the strength and influence of the Long family in this country. It was definitely unprecedented for someone to dare to kill Long Tengyu. Moreover, he and Long Tengyu were partners. If Long Tengyu died, his interests would be damaged. Therefore, no matter what, he could not just watch Long Tengyu die. Seeing that Long Tengyu's chest was still rising and falling slightly, Sawada Ichiro knew that the other party was not dead. Thus, he hurriedly walked over and pushed the hotel staff away, saying, "Get out of the way, I'll save him." "No, wait for the doctor." The hotel staff had already recognized Long Tengyu and did not dare to act rashly, much less let others get close to Long Tengyu. Sawada Ichiro snorted coldly, and in a flash he passed through the human wall, squatted in front of Long Tengyu, and started to circulate his energy to treat him. It had to be said that Long Tengyu was really lucky. At the critical moment, he used his energy to protect his internal organs. Although the huge impact broke many of his bones, his life was indeed saved. Of course, if it wasn't for the buffer of the advertising wall, he would have died without a doubt. This was something that Tang Zheng did not expect. "Young Master Long, you're awake. Who hurt you?" Under Sawada Ichiro's treatment, Long Tengyu finally opened his eyes slowly, causing the other people who wanted to rush up and chase Sawada Ichiro away to stop. Long Tengyu grimaced as he sucked in a breath of cold air. This time, he had really walked through the gates of hell. The moment he fell off the building, he felt as if he had seen the god of death. However, he was lucky enough to survive. He couldn't help but feel a lingering fear, but more than that, he was filled with anger. His eyes were wide open, as if his eyeballs were about to pop out. He gritted his teeth and growled, "Tang Zheng, it's Tang Zheng who wants to kill me." Tang Zheng? Sawada Ichiro was stunned for a moment. He was shocked. Wasn't his disciple, Jiang Chuan Yuanya, also defeated by a person called Tang Zheng today? Could it be that these two were the same person? "Young Master Long, who is Tang Zheng?" "A despicable fellow. I want to kill him. I want to take revenge." "Ah!" Long Tengyu roared, but it affected his wounds, causing him to moan in pain. "Is Tang Zheng a student of Yenching University?" Sawada Ichiro asked. "I don't know. I don't care where he is. I must dig 3 feet into the ground to find him." "Sawada Ichiro, I will add another condition to our cooperation, and that is we must make Tang Zheng disappear from this world. Only when he is dead can our cooperation continue." Long Tengyu said hatefully. Sawada Ichiro muttered to himself for a moment, then said, "Don't worry, young Master Long. As long as we find out who this person is, we will definitely do as you wish." Whether or not this Tang Zheng and the person who defeated his disciple were the same person, Sawada Ichiro had no reason to refuse, because in his eyes, Tang Zheng was an insignificant person. At this time, the ambulance arrived, and Long Tengyu was carried to the car and quickly sent to the hospital. The news of Long Tengyu falling and almost dying quickly spread throughout the capital. It was believed that it was caused by him, but no one knew who this person was. Although the Long family's headquarters was in southern Yunnan, they still had quite a bit of influence in the capital. Who knew how many pairs of eyes were staring at the Long family? Thus, they all investigated the truth behind Long Tingyu's fall. Unknowingly, a strange feeling arose in everyone's heart. During this period of time, the capital was truly troubled. First, it was Chu Xiaofeng, then it was Long Tingyu. It seemed that the disciples of these large families were really unlucky recently. Bad things happened one after another. Many people were guessing who was targeting Long Tingyu this time. They didn't know how big of a storm it would cause. Sawada Ichiro also ordered Jiangchuan Yuanya to investigate Tang Zheng and lock onto Tang Zheng's whereabouts. No matter what, he had to crush this stumbling block. At the same time, no one noticed that a figure had snuck into the capital's police forensic center and saw two corpses that had been sucked dry of blood. Looking at these two corpses, she finally confirmed that these two people were indeed killed by the demon god, which meant that the demon god was really in the capital. She immediately reported this matter to the martial sect master and also started an investigation. She was determined to track down the whereabouts of the demon god. As one of the parties involved in all of this, Tang Zheng walked into an apartment with Lu Qingmei in his arms. The night was long, and it seemed that something would happen. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.